right, here we go. The mighty return of TK Kirkland on VladTV.
That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
Let them know. Let them know. We're going to let you know.
You know how we do.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into it.
Yes, sir.
Kendrick Lamar was recently announced as the performer of the next Super Bowl in New Orleans. And the whole internet's upset right now.
Yes.
Explain to me why they're so upset.
Vlad, I have thought about this situation over and over, right? I've listened to so many sides on on why people are upset. And regardless of people think that it's beef, regardless of people bring up Weezy's past, regardless they bring up saying Jay-Z paid this tax and gave him money, called him best friend, regardless of all that, at the end of the day, right is right. And regardless of if there's beef with anyone, this is just my personal opinion. I don't know what anybody else, because everybody's giving their personal opinion, I'm giving mine. My personal opinion, starting out with NWA back in the day, understanding hip-hop, touring with Jay-Z, touring with the Cash Money Millionaires, touring with the Rough Riders, everybody. I really feel that Bryant Williams, Baby, Lil Wayne deserve the opportunity to show the world how great they truly are. Now, you could do a concert in New Orleans, yes. You could do a concert anywhere in the world, but it's not the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's the biggest show in America.
The biggest show in the world.
In the world?
In the world, on that particular day.
Well, okay, yeah, on that particular day.
On that particular day.
Of course, there's the World Cup, which is bigger overall,
yes.
but yeah, you're right. On that day, it's the biggest show on earth.
The biggest show on earth.
Yeah.
And to deprive them, whatever that reason was, the person should have put their personal feelings to the side and allowed these young men to shine just off their credits alone on what they have accomplished in their whole career. We're not talking about a 5-year span. We talk about these guys have created history like no other independent rap label ever, and I don't know it ever be duplicated again. And just on that alone, on that, those credentials, those accomplishments, should have got them hands down, no dispute, whatever. But unfortunately, the people who are all upset, people who talk, guess what? We was not in the room to make the decision. And whoever made the decision got to live with their decision.
Well, everyone's blaming Jay-Z for this.
Yes, and he should be.
Okay. But what's circulating around the internet right now is that they're saying that Jay-Z put together a short list, but it's up to the host city to decide who actually performs. So they're saying that Jay actually doesn't have the final say.
Well, let's go.
That's what they're saying. Okay, I'm not saying it's true or false.
So so let's beg to differ, right?
Okay.
When Eminem went to Jay-Z, they said 50 Cent has to perform. He took the credit for that. 50 was saying Jay-Z didn't want to perform.
Right, but keep in mind, 50 Cent was not the main performer of that. It was Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Lil Wayne does a cameo during the performance.
I thought about that as well.
Yeah.
I did. I thought about every angle, and that was one of them, right?
Yeah.
That he did. But is it right? Is it right to have someone come in your city and you do a cameo on a show that's supposed to be yours? Now, let's take it bigger, because I'm with you.
Yeah.
I don't know Kendrick Lamar. I'm just good at spirit. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, years ago, me and you had a discussion on this show, and we talked about Jeezy and Gucci Mane.
Yeah.
And I told you that those guys is going to apologize. This is on whatever that rap competition thing was.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that they were all going to apologize to each other and raise the bar for the hip hop, for the culture. When I think of Kendrick Lamar, I see a spiritual man. I see a man who moves in faith, and I see a man who believes he wants to change the world. And yes, he did a diss record on Drake, right? That was phenomenal.
Did a few.
Right, a few. But I think he had to defend himself. It's like pushing somebody in the corner, and now you got to defend yourself. I think that's why he did that. And he showed how talented he was doing that. But I think in his heart that it's possible that he'll bring out not just Lil Wayne next year, but Drake as well. And they'll all come together on this stage to show the world that they can come together and make something. Now, let me explain something to you. If that happens, it will be the talk of the Super Bowl forever.
Yeah, I will bet you money that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in putting it in the universe, but I'm with you. It was just an idea. I totally agree with you. It's a great idea.
Happens. But if you look at the actual image that got posted to announce Kendrick performing, it says, only one opportunity to win a championship, no round twos. And people think that's actually a jab at Drake.
You know it's only one opportunity to win a championship. No round twos. Let's get it.
I mean, of course, it couldn't be, but
I've seen worse.
It kind of sounds like
Yeah, I've seen worse. I've seen situations worse. And this is just a show. But what I would say to my crew, because I love both of them. I love Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and them. And I really rock with Baby. That's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people as I move through in life, you get to a point in life, you don't let things bother you anymore. You say, fuck it, and put a smile on. You keep doing what you do, and you keep putting out hits. And anybody in life, if you don't get what you want, it hurts. It hurts when it's something that you really want bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
It hurts. But you learn, you find a way to pop your collar, brush your shoulders off, and you continue your life. Because I was kind of hurt too. I was sort of hurt in a sense. It felt like Nipsey Hussle died again.
At first I said, and I actually tweeted this.
Yes.
I said, okay, I agree that Wayne should be performing at the Super Bowl in New Orleans as well. But to be fair, have you ever seen a performer that was tied to the city where the Super Bowl was happening and people responded and said, Dr. Dre in LA? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So that did happen?
That did happen.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when Dr. Dre performed the Super Bowl, it was in Los Angeles.
Yes.
So, yeah, there are times where the city is tied to the performer.
Yes.
Recently.
Yes.
So we can't say, well, these things kind of don't coincide, because they do. So there's that. Now, Drake, and this is going around the internet as well, was allegedly offered the Super Bowl 4 times, and he turned it down every time. That's not a surprise, as big as Drake is.
Yes.
Think about it. Drake is an international megastar.
Yes.
So why would they not want that? And you know what's interesting is, Tommy Davidson went over this in our interview a while back. Up until, what was it, like the late 80s, the Super Bowl halftime show was just a throwaway.
Yes.
In fact, the last time that they didn't take it seriously, they had a Elvis impersonator performing. And in Living Color, which was the hottest show at the time, they decided to really go left field and say, hey, we're going to have an in Living Color special during the Super Bowl halftime show, and even showed a little countdown at the right-hand corner so people could jump back and not miss the show.
Right.
And I believe that year they had better ratings than the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yes.
And what did the Super Bowl do after that? Michael Jackson. And the rest was history.
The rest is history. I saw that article.
Yeah.
I saw the interview with you guys. Yeah, it's true.
You know, like I was telling you, Keenan's nice, man. And the people he worked with, the I'd say his offensive coordinators, just to put it in those terms, you know, they were nice, man. They thought of that concept, and it was bonanza. You know, it changed. I mean, he's made corporate America, you know, trillions. Easily. Okay, you see that thing with the West Coast thing at the Rams game? Was that nice?
Yeah.
That was a result of what Keenan thought of, you know? It was a result, and here with my, you know, hard ass head, you know, I'm thinking I'm not being treated fairly, right? Like I need more sketches on the show and this, that, and the other thing. And here come the Super Bowl thing, you know, and you know, I want to be doing something in this thing, man. I'm going to say something. You know what I mean? So Keenan comes in you know, and Keenan, you know, Keenan's the man. Keenan's like, okay, so here we go. And we were teammates, so it's like the locker room and we talking about what we're gonna be doing. So he said, we're gonna be doing a Super Bowl show. We're gonna be doing a halftime show. Okay. And everybody's like, oh man, that's exciting. That's exciting. Kelly, you're gonna be doing this, you're gonna be doing that. Jamie, you're gonna be doing this, you're gonna be doing that, you're gonna be doing that. Jim, you're gonna be doing it. I'm thinking in my head, you know, I knew it, man. I need me some more, you know, stuff, man. And once he finishes everybody, he goes, Tommy, you're hosting it. Because you're the only one that can handle live. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, New Edition, sorry. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Sorry, sorry, Keenan. I know. Anyway, I like New Edition. All right, what can I say, man? You like it? Everybody like New Edition.
Yeah, of course.
That's my joint. Sorry, but anyway.
Yep. Well, I mean, you changed really sports forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I mean, you could say, I mean, there's been phenomenal Super Bowl halftime shows, but the Michael Jackson Super Bowl halftime show
was phenomenal. I was there.
Oh, you were there.
Guess who I was with?
Who?
Dennis Rodman.
Okay, I've interviewed him.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman is my guy. I saw his whole life change. He was with me that week. We went to see Michael Jackson, and just before Madonna turned him out. See, because I always tell him that Madonna turned him out. He was just a nice guy because me and John Sally was tight.
Okay.
And me and John still tight.
Yeah.
But it was Dennis Rodman. We went to the Michael Jackson concert. A week later, after that, that's when Dennis had that episode with his wife and he was thinking about taking his life.
Yeah, me and John actually talked about that.
Yeah, that's what happened.
He had a shotgun in his car.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And me and him had never hung out together since that moment. But Michael Jackson, and the other greatest performance in Super Bowl history, Bruno Mars.
That was a great one.
I had never saw him perform before. When I saw Bruno Mars perform, I was blown away.
The Usher one was great also.
Usher's family, and I think the reason why I have the same love for that, because I toured with them growing up as kids. So when I see them perform, I'm not as excited. And I think what Bruno Mars did for me, I had never seen him perform. So if I had toured with him 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been impressed. But because I had never seen him perform and I saw him at the Super Bowl, I was impressed. And I go, whoa. But yes, Usher was good, but it didn't excite me the way it would have if I had never seen him perform. That's all.
Yeah, look, a lot of people put it on Jay-Z. They're saying that him and Wayne have had some friction in the past and so forth. And I remember I had Tony Yayo on my show recently. He called Jay-Z a hater because Jay tried to stop 50 from performing. Eminem had to put his foot down and say, listen, if 50's not performing, I'm not going to perform.
Yes.
And since everyone wanted Eminem on the Dr. Dre ticket, they let 50 Cent come in and do it. That's where he's hanging upside down.
Yes. But what's right is Cash. Lil Wayne should have been representing the city. And if that would have happened, and them say, I'm in New Orleans. I rock with them people hard, right? They don't have much, man.
I love that city, by the way.
Yeah.
My favorite food city in the world.
Yes, but let me make sure I've cleared this up. They don't have much.
Yeah, that's true.
And when Cash Money does something, you can see the energy in that city. And what they did on this one was deeper than just an artist. They affected the mentality of that city because that city looks forward. They don't have much, so they look forward when Cash. Give me an example. When we did the Essence Fest this year, it rained like crazy that night, right? It was 95,000 people at the Superdome by the time we went on stage. 95,000. 95,000. That show didn't end till like 2, 3 in the morning. I don't understand. But that's how, when we was pulling up in the cars, I had never seen nothing like that. The traffic, they was coming. The other nights wasn't that powerful. That night Cash Money performed, and I was the host by it.
I know. I know.
It was amazing. When to pull up in the cars, and you passing people sitting in their car trying to get in. That was phenomenal.
Well, the Essence Fest was supposed to be the Hot Boys reunion.
Yes.
But it really wasn't.
No, it wasn't. And that hurt me because Lil Wayne had said something after the show, blah, blah, blah. But that
what did he say after the show?
Well, I don't want to do that because they take what I say on your show very seriously.
Okay.
And I had
but did he publicly say it, though?
Yeah, he publicly said it.
Okay, well, if he publicly said it.
Yeah, but even if I say it, I'm like the uncle.
Right. Okay, fair
So
enough.
when it comes out of my mouth, they get emotional. What's my boy, BG?
Yeah.
I was on your show, and we had a long talk at the Four Seasons, because when I was in there, I thought of you down in New Orleans. And from that moment on, I wanted to make sure that whatever comes out of my mouth about people, it's the right thing, or don't say nothing at all, because people are emotional about when I say it.
Yeah, okay,
You
fair
know?
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, because you had actually talked about how BG approached you about some comments he made about his music.
Yes.
And he was hurt.
He was hurt. He was hurt, man.
What did he say?
He just, TK, I can't believe you our big brother. Like, how could you say? And I looked him in his eye and I said, you know what? I totally understand and you was right. And I wanted to make sure that I take, as a man, I apologize. And I went on some show. Did I come on your show and apologize?
No.
Okay, so again, I was on another show, I apologize.
I think Angie Martinez.
Angie Martinez. Yeah. So on Vlad, I wanted to make sure that to BG, I apologize because these guys really look up to me and I have to respect how you made me famous. Like, it's just, like, the credibility that I have in the streets is unreal. So I have to take pride in how I carry myself and what I say out of my mouth because they really listen to me. And I could hurt someone's feelings. And I don't want to do that.
Well, it actually was announced recently that there will be an actual Hot Boys reunion at Louisiana Fest.
Yes, November 2nd.
Which you're hosting as well?
Which I'm hosting as well. Yeah, and I'm excited about that. Because I had turned down the Legends thing with YouTube at first with Baby. Just because I'm just so busy, you know? And I said, nah, baby, I ain't gonna do it. So he said, TK, do the thing November 2nd. See, we have been talking about the Super Bowl and all this stuff September of last year. See, Cash Money actually, it was a 90% sure Cash Money was doing the Super Bowl. 90%. We had already started planning things at the O'Hare the night before the Super Bowl. We had things planned. This is how deep, how long we've been planning. So some things I can't announce here because we already discussed with Live Nation about some things that we can't discuss, but we already had stuff planned to do. So the Cash Money thing would have been just the icing on the cake. We was ready for it, yo. Glad man, the city would have had one of the greatest times of their life if this would have pulled off.
Listen, you never know, because if you remember the Dr. Dre Super Bowl performance, Kendrick actually showed up to that.
He did.
He performed.
Did. But it's not the same.
It's not the same as when you're the headliner.
Is that right? Because if you're the headliner, guess what? Everything is about you.
Right. Now, there's a chance, I mean, you've seen this, like, originally there was supposed to be a versus with T.I. and Jeezy.
Yeah.
And everyone was asking, no, it should be T.I. and Gucci. And T.I. said, you know something, I'm listening to the people, I'm going to step down and let the two of them have it. There's a chance that Kendrick will step down and give it to Wayne.
I thought that would change.
It might happen.
It might happen.
It's not like he needs his performance to make his career. He's
already
there.
I totally agree. That would be amazing if
and
they
if he
did
decides not to do it, then that's the end of that.
Because there's enough uproar. Because the people now, if you stand up and fight for something that you truly want to believe in, this is the opportunity to stress it and let the world know, hey, let Lil Wayne do this. Because I'm for the people. When you walk down the street, the homeless, the people who are not doing good, the city who doesn't really have that much, right? They still are feeling the effects from Katrina. They still feeling it. And they just want to have something to believe in. And Cash Money, I see the way when we go to that city and when I'm hanging with Baby, he's like a god. He's literally like a god down there, man. I seen it with my own eyes.
Now, you're a little biased. I've asked this question a couple times to different people, but you're a little biased.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think had a bigger impact on New Orleans? Cash Money or No Limit? Now, I say you're biased because you're affiliated with Cash Money.
Yes.
Not really No Limit.
I think two truths can be right.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's not like a lot of rappers have come out of New Orleans.
Yeah, that's true.
See, New York got a lot, Atlanta got a lot, LA got, their crew, but New Orleans, nah.
Yeah, outside of those two crews, yeah, I'm looking down the line, nah. I mean, there's been a lot. Like Currency is not technically part of Cash Money. Although, wasn't he part of a group that was part of Cash Money? So you could say he's coming out of Cash Money also.
All that's under Cash Money.
It's all under Cash Money. Kevin Gates, he was supposed to be signed to Cash Money at one point, but he wasn't. So he's like one of I think probably the biggest rapper to come out of New Orleans that wasn't part of Cash Money or No Limit.
I agree.
Yeah, Kevin Gates.
But when you talk about...
but Kevin Gates is not Lil Wayne.
Yes, he does his thing, but he's not Lil Wayne.
He's not Master P.
He's not Master P.
He doesn't quite have that, although he's a dope rapper.
Yes.
He lives nearby. I run into him. He's a cool guy. I've interviewed him before, but yeah, you can't say, even I'm sure he would say that.
Yeah, he would say that.
I don't think Kevin would say, I'm bigger than Lil Wayne.
Right.
I don't think he would say that.
Those guys have, I remember we go back to the set of Baller Blockin when Lil Wayne was pushing his little Mercedes-Benz at 16 years old. And I was like his big uncle, and we playing around, having a good time. And I watched his career. I've actually seen so many people in this game. And I actually walked in, they said, I've been to their projects, right? I've been there. And how when they pull up, people just come out to see them. I seen when Baby had about 80 people with him, taking them shopping down there on, what's the main street down there that the Ritz-Carlton is on?
I know what you're talking about.
Canal?
Canal Street, yeah.
Canal Street.
There we go, yeah.
Seen what he does to the people. He was taking them all shots. I was with him when he bought 8 Bentleys. He was buying, listen, I had never seen that before. So we going shopping. We went shopping, then he just stopped and to the car dealership. So he bought, seriously, 8 Bentleys and drove it up the lot that day, right? I was talking to my man. I said, yo, don't look at him. I said, he might buy us a car. You know how you look at someone, you throw them off? Yeah. But if you're not looking at them, right, they might take into consideration. That's how he was rolling. And he really loved his people. So that's my thing. And so I'm just going to put this a public announcement out. Kendrick Lamar, I started out with Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and they love me and I love them. And because I've been in this business since 1985, I'm asking from the bottom of my heart, as a man, can you please turn down the Super Bowl and let Lil Wayne and Cash Money rise? Because from my heart, it would make the city of New Orleans ecstatic. There's no other word that I just know what that would do for them.
Well, speaking of Baller Blockin, because you were talking about at one point,
yes,
you're working on Baller Blockin 2.
Yes.
And NBA YoungBoy,
yes,
supposed to be in it.
Yes.
But unfortunately, since that time, he violated his probation with that pill charge.
Yes.
Got put back in jail.
Yes.
And he just accepted a plea deal for the gun case.
He did.
27 months.
Cause not bad.
With time served, his lawyer said he should be out in about a year.
Okay.
But then there's the pill case. That's a whole different case, and it's like something like 80 new charges because they're basically charging him for every time he did it. Yeah, it's crazy.
And what city? We in Utah?
I was in Utah.
Oh, different type of laws.
Yeah.
They don't play up there.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the situation is, and this is not a secret, NBA YoungBoy is an addict
Yes, he is.
when it comes to the pill.
Yes, he is.
Now, you could roll the dice and get your pills off the street, but you see what happens.
Yes.
You know, all the people who died, you know, from the fentanyl and everything else like that.
Yes.
So him and I think some girls that he knew took it upon themselves to try to call in fake prescriptions.
Yes.
The girls would call it in, he would call it in using fake voices or whatever. All this stuff is recorded.
All is recorded.
All these phone calls to these pharmacies,
Yes.
all recorded. You think they're going to not cooperate
Oh, yeah.
because of you and lose their pharmacy license?
Right, right.
Oh, no.
The only thing he has going for him that I know this is all over America is that they have special treatment for drug addicts. So they have programs, and you go to jail and you find out if you got a good attorney, they'll tell you about your programs, stuff that you can do, and you can get out in no time. If you on drugs, your ass to get out because they got the programs for you in there. It's like amazing. When you sitting in there and a dude come in here and did all this crime, it's like, yeah, I'm doing a day. I was in this program. Bam. You're on the fucking street. This shit is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it works out for him.
Hopefully it
I
works
personally
out.
don't know. I never met him.
So we're talking about then, worst case scenario, another 5 years. I think he might get 3 to 5 in Utah.
Yeah, I looked it up. He has 63 charges.
That's a lot of damn charges, man.
Well, because every time you do it, it's a new charge.
Okay, so good attorney, fines, he has the money to fight, and he is a drug addict. He can play that really well.
Yeah, I mean, originally it said 63. Now they're saying it might be 48.
Okay.
Still, it's a hell of a lot of
Hell
charges.
of a lot. He'll take a
hell of
plea
lot.
deal. And let me explain to you why anything is possible. OJ drove down the 405 with a gun to his head about to kill himself.
And he got off.
And he walked the streets.
Yeah.
No disrespect. I'm not saying he did it or not. I just know that he had cameras on him. And when you hear the recordings, he was going to kill himself on the 405. They drove all the way to his house. The police arrested him. He went to jail, and in 2 years, that man walked the street a free man. If that ain't a goddamn miracle or whatever, whether it was right or wrong, he still was walking the street.
Yeah, man, listen. YoungBoy has like $100 million or something, some huge amount of money. Yeah, I mean, think about it. He just drops album after album after album. Not independently. He's on a label, but you know.
No, I don't think he took a label deal this time. I think that he walked away from.
Oh, did he?
Atlantic tried to give him $26 million.
Huh.
And I think he still went independent. And I might think that Baby came in and pulled the deal, but I think he stayed independent. He was offered like $26 million, and he told him no.
I don't know. When I'm
And 'cause he
looking it
was
up, it's showing Motown. Yeah, no. Well, no, I don't know, though. He signed to Motown back in 2022, and this is 2 years later.
Yes.
In 2022, they say he signed a $60 million deal.
Okay.
So maybe he did.
Yeah, maybe he did.
$60 million is a lot of money.
60 is a lot of money. You'll take it.
I'll take it. Give me the $60 million.
Yep, damn fucking
Where do
right.
I sign?
In the
I'll
minute.
bring my own pen.
Exactly. I'll take $60 million. You damn right.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was posting pictures of himself with like pills on the ground.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, no, man.
Oh, no. This one, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Because I was really looking forward to working with him. So when Baller Blockin was really going to happen,
Yeah.
we had to get approval from the judge. I was talking to the director. Me and Baby was talking because me and him was going to be the main stars. His role was going to be his son is still in the streets. My son, even though I'm an old chief of police, my son is the new cop now of that particular city, and those two guys are beefing with each other. So Baby is giving his son game from inside the jail. I'm giving my son game too on how to maneuver through. It was going to be a great movie. It was going to be the script was amazing.
Yeah?
Script was amazing.
Well,
it really
they'll have
was.
to either take YoungBoy out of the script or wait until he gets out.
Yeah, wait till he gets out. But we hope that
You can
we
get
could
out and do Baller Blockin 3.
Or we call it Baller Blockin 3. We'll see. But it was a great independent film. And it has such an impact on New Orleans. Again, tell you a story. I'm in New Orleans a couple years ago. I'm walking down the street. It's just 2 o'clock in the morning, Vlad. See this homeless lady sitting on the steps. We make eye contact. I walk around the corner. She starts running. She says, excuse me, excuse me. I said, yeah. She said, can I have your autograph? And this is what I said. I said, who do you think I am? She didn't know my name. You know what she said? Baller Block. I said, come here, baby. She said, Baller Block. She didn't know my name, but she remembered me from Baller Blocking. And to this day, we talk about 1998. This is 2024 now, right?
Yeah.
They still remember me from Baller Blocking. That's my point. They don't have much. They hold on to it. When I come to the city, matter of fact, I'm there at the Fillmore, October 18th. Make sure y'all come through, TK Kirkland. To this day, they still bring up Baller Blocking. They'll say, I just watched Baller Blocking. And I'm like, all these other damn movies that's out, you still watching Baller Blocking? That's how powerful Cash Money is in New Orleans.
Well, Diddy just lost a $100 million lawsuit to an inmate who sued him for sexual assault because Diddy didn't show up for court.
Yes.
Now, his lawyers recently made a statement saying, you know, we will get this thrown out very quickly and so forth. I guess if they prove that they weren't properly served or something like that, you get it thrown out. A little bit funny that a man would sue you for sexual assault and actually win $100 million or
Two
whatever.
things, what I read, that he offered the guy $2.3 million to turn it down.
I heard about that.
But here's the crazy part that I read. He kept the book that you signed when Puffy came to see him.
Oh, Puffy actually visited him in prison?
He visited him in jail. Sure did. Now, we on the internet. We don't know how true this shit is, right? We live in a world now that we just don't know. But this is and I think it was some CNN that wrote it, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly, yeah.
So I'm reading this, and when he said that he kept the log of Sean Combs coming to see him, and that that Puff offered him $2.3 million. Now, this is what I said yesterday. I saw Puff in Harlem, brushing his hair.
He was with G-Dip.
Yeah, and I said, watch something drops about that man again. I'm thinking maybe a week from now. It was today. And what I want to tell people, when you got that much dirt on you, you really got to stay low key, not for a few months, years. Because every time you show up, the universe is going to remind you that we're still not done with you.
Well, yeah, there's another lawsuit also. A former adult film star sued him, saying that he made her boyfriend give him head.
I think I read that.
Yeah.
I think I read that. And it's just so much. It gets to a point you don't know what to believe, right? It was so much that you don't know if people want as a money grab, because we're not privileged to the documents, right?
Well, hold on. You know, when people say that, I just like to clear the air.
Okay, great.
Hold on. A civil lawsuit is by definition a money grab, because it's about the money.
Okay.
No one goes to jail over a civil lawsuit.
Yes.
So when someone sues you civilly and people say that's just a money grab, yes, by definition, it is a money grab.
Okay.
They're trying to grab some money out of you for whatever reason.
Respect.
Okay, so yes, it is a money grab.
Okay.
Go on.
So it is a money grab.
Of course,
It's
every single time.
Yeah.
Now, a criminal case is not a money grab.
Okay.
You know, there might be money involved in it somewhere along the line, but that is to put someone in prison.
Thanks for educating me, because my mom was somewhere else, so it's a money grab.
It is a money grab. A civil law, if you sue someone civilly, it's a money grab.
It's a money grab.
When you get a criminal lawsuit, it's about prison time.
Okay.
Potentially.
So everybody paying attention, because my mom was somewhere else, and he's right. Civil is about money. So when it's about
Yes,
money,
every single time.
you can't.
The Cassie
leave a
lawsuit
motherfucker.
was a money grab.
It's a money grab.
This lawsuit, the $100 million with the inmate, is a money grab.
It's a money grab.
It's always a money grab. Lil Rod, money grab.
Yes, and what I read about this guy, he's good at paperwork. The guy that sued Puff.
Yeah, not
so
sure.
when people, I've been around people who are brilliant that wind up going to jail. That if they somehow found the energy to do the right thing in life, they could have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right? And what I read about this guy, now that you are breaking down to me civil, he's phenomenal with the paperwork. He's phenomenal with getting things done. This is what I read from the article. I said, he one of them. But for some reason, I wasn't connecting civil with money grab. I wasn't connecting a criminal case with prison time. And I'm glad that you said, and I'm glad that we're saying this on air. So now we're educating people, right? We're educating them. So there's a big thing.
Right. I mean, look, in a
Makes a big
criminal
difference.
case, let's just say you get caught for stealing a certain amount of money.
Yes.
Right. Now, you could go to jail, and then part of the case was you have to return the money to the people that you stole from.
Yes.
Right?
Restitution.
Restitution, exactly. But that's all part of the criminal case.
Yes.
A civil case, no one ever goes to prison over it, and it's strictly a money grab. Now, sometimes the feds might look at certain civil cases and say, hey, we're going to turn this into a criminal case, which I think is what happened with the whole Cassie situation and all the other lawsuits.
Right.
Because, you know, there's still the grand jury indictment that's happening, and from what I understand, they're now subpoenaing, like, all types of, like, messages and hotel records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they're still trying to put that together. But, you know, when going up against a Diddy, who has $100 million put aside for just his legal bills, the feds understand that they need to have everything crystal clear.
Understand, absolutely.
They don't want to lose this case
Yes.
and end up looking bad.
Yes.
People might end up losing their jobs and
Okay,
stuff
right.
like that.
It's true.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
We'll see
right
what
now,
happens.
he's not
And
he's not
again-
charged with anything.
Yeah, and again, let me explain to some people in life. I always say, never wish a man bad when he's down, but always say to yourself, I wish that person the best, but I never want it to happen to me.
Yeah.
I use other people's situations to say, please, I never want to be in that situation. And I get it.
Well, you know, along with this, all the situations surrounding Diddy, more and more people are coming forward.
Yes.
And what's interesting, I just interviewed Elliot Wilson, whose wife actually used to be the editor-in-chief at Vibe.
Okay.
And she wrote a essay, which he co-signed. He said, hey, my wife said it is true. There was a situation where Puffy was supposed to be on the cover of Vibe.
Yes.
And he called him up and said, I want to see the cover. And they said, well, no, that's not what we do. You know, you can't see the cover until it's actually released. He showed up and threatened to kill her to the point where she had to be escorted out with security. And then at one point, the servers just disappeared, which she thinks he had something to do with. So he has this really long history, man, of just acting out and
Yes.
feeling like the laws don't apply to him
I agree.
because of who he is.
Yes.
And I think it's really catching up at this point. Now that people are seeing, you know, some weaknesses and some chinks in his armor and stuff like that, it's like, okay, now everyone's coming out of the woodwork. Everyone's got a story. Everyone who has a potential lawsuit, everyone, the documentaries, you know, Diddy's got the documentary that, you know, Netflix is working on and so forth. So there's a lot of
When
crazy
you're a bad
stuff.
person and you don't figure it out, the universe will figure it out for you. Because you get so much time to be a bad person, but then you got to change it. And if you don't change it, the universe will embarrass you to no extent. It'll take your money. It'll take your fame. It'll take your dignity. It will embarrass your children. It will embarrass your mother. It will strip you down to the core that you become so humble that you either want to be seen no more or you'll just disappear. And I don't even think we've gotten to the surface of this.
No, we're just starting. And his mother ended up in the hospital not too long ago. I don't know if you heard about that, yeah. I'm sure the stress of all this plays
And
a
the
role.
reason why I say that, I had a situation with Puffy in 1998.
Yeah.
And everybody knows about it, right? And we didn't have social media, right? We didn't have social media then. But it hurt my mind. And I'm on a low level now. I'm not on Puffy status. You know, it hurt my mom. And my mom died 2 years later. I'm not saying it's from that, I'm just saying, when you get older, and to all the young men and girls out here, your mothers and fathers really love you. And when you're doing wrong, I want you to take time to think about how many people you're gonna hurt if you get caught, how many lives you affect when you do something wrong. Now, some ignorant person gonna say, yeah, I did this when I was young. I'm teaching you this because that's what elders are for. People get the shit fucked up, what elders and OGs are for. Our job is to tell you how to move through life so it doesn't happen to you. Now, you can do whatever you want to do. My job is to give you information. It's up to you how you process it.
Yeah, I recently interviewed FBG Young, who started FBG along with FBG Duck.
Yes.
And I remember he asked me, he said, why'd you interview Duck's mother right after he passed? And to me, I felt this was one of the most important interviews that I've ever done, because I interviewed her right after the murder of her son. And she was crying over the loss of her son. And I said, it's so important for everyone who's out there doing this type of stuff in the streets to see how it affects your mother.
Yes.
You don't think about that.
You don't think about it.
You think about how it affects you.
Yes.
A lot of people got mad at me over doing the interview. But yeah. I felt that, like, it was important to show the repercussions of this life. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, you may not care about your own life, but if you love your mom, this is what's going to happen after you pass. Because Mama Duck was crying throughout the interview. You saw that interview?
Yeah, I seen.
How did you feel when you saw that?
Emotional, because I was still fucked up about even losing them. And then, you know.
Yeah. Did you know Mama Duck?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so you really got to really feel what that whole thing. I mean, were you upset that I did that interview, or did you think that it was needed to really put out there?
Yeah, I was upset.
You were upset?
Yeah. But it is what it is.
Yeah. When you pass away because of decisions that you made, and I'm not saying that Duck's death was his fault, but he did certain things that I think accelerated that situation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm just going to do it like a side note. I was thinking about this recently. People like to say, your final day is already written. You know, it's already predetermined the day you're going to die. And I completely disagree.
I agree with you.
I think every single day you make decisions to make that day come sooner or later.
I agree with you.
Every single day.
Every day.
Every day, whether it's decisions about your health, about how you interact with people, about whether you choose to do things legally or illegally, drugs, whatever else. Every day will make that day come a little quicker or get pushed back way in the past.
I totally agree with you.
So in this case, she was crying and you got to see the raw emotions of what happened. And I'm hoping, and a lot of people have DM'd me about this, about how watching this, you might think, listen, I may not care about my own life, but I don't want to do this to my mother.
Yes,
and that's a permanent injury to your mother.
Yes.
Every single day, Duck's mother thinks about how her son got gunned down in broad daylight on the Gold Coast in downtown Chicago. And it's going to hurt her every single day. So if you care about your mother, which I think most people do,
yes,
it might make you think twice about the decisions that you make.
And I'm really serious, gentlemen and ladies. Think about your mother and your dad.
Yeah, and your dad as well.
It does.
Yeah.
It's something, just like when your children grow up to be good. You take pride in that shit.
Yeah.
I know some friends of mine, my son just got sentenced to jail. You motherfuckers gotta live with that pain.
Yeah.
That's some painful shit to say to a friend, my son went to prison for rape or whatever, right?
Yeah. True. Yeah.
It's a sad feeling because you live with this darkness and pain for the rest of your life. Or you deal with, like you said, your child getting murdered. That's one of my fears.
Yeah, people like to say, I've heard this before, your mood is only as good as your saddest child.
I could see that.
So if one of your kids is going through it,
yes,
that's where your mood will be.
Yep.
If all your kids are happy, you're good.
Yes.
But if one of them is going through it, It's not something you can shake off.
Nah. I totally agree with you 1,000%.
As more information comes out of the whole Diddy situation, there's been some interesting little side notes. I remember Shine did an interview recently. He was debating, I think, with some political person. You know, he's a political figure in Belize.
Yes.
And they talked about how he shot that girl, and he said, "No, I didn't do that, but I don't want to talk about it."
Yes.
Now, this interview's not out yet. I interviewed Detective Bill Courtney, who was involved in a whole lot of investigations in New York during this time. And what he said was the night of that incident, and you're kind of tied into this whole situation in your own way as well. Shine did shoot off his gun. But what Bill said was that Puffy shot off his gun too, and the gun that he used was the one that actually hit the girl.
Right.
And that girl actually did an interview recently on Bill Courtney's podcast who said the same thing. And I remember he even went to the whole story about how when they jumped in the car to get away, he threw the gun out the window and it landed on some guy's hood who was still standing in the, sitting in the car. And
the driver had a secret compartment in the car.
No, Diddy tried to pay the driver off to take the gun. He's like, "Hey, I'll give you all this money. I'll give you my ring and whatever." And the driver was like, "I don't want to have nothing to do with this."
Okay,
crazy?
that is right.
Yeah, and he cooperated and so forth. But what Bill Courtney said was that...
And I respect that driver for that too, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so let's make sure we do that because when I read that, any other person probably would have said yes, whatever. But that man stood up for what he believed in. But go ahead.
Right.
I just want to make sure we acknowledge him.
Yeah. What Bill Courtney's saying was that Diddy was the other shooter because he had all the money and he separated his case from Shine and probably convinced Shine. The woman who got shot recently said that it wasn't Shine who did the shooting, it was actually Diddy.
Yes.
Is there any truth in that?
Yeah, it's what they always thought,
So they said that Diddy was the shooter, not Shine?
Yeah. I think Shine fires indiscriminately somewhere.
So Diddy was the one that shot the woman in the face?
I believe that's it. I believe, I'll get it for you. It's, he definitely fired a gun.
Huh. Well, he had a gun, because I remember the story was after it happened, everyone ran out. Diddy and J-Lo jumps in their car, and Diddy has the gun on him, and he tries to bribe the driver.
He throws it out, and it lands on a guy's car. This guy's sitting in his car, and a gun lands on his roof or whatever. And they don't put it together, though, for like a day or so because, I guess the way the guy reported, he reported in a different precinct, whatever happens, but they put it together. They tried to bribe that guy. This female security guard got bribed, and she said, "Oh, I fell on him right after the shooting, and I didn't feel a gun against him." I mean, come on. People changed their stories. There was a lot going on with that case. He should have been held accountable for what went on in that club,
Well, he brought Johnny Cochran in on it.
He brought Johnny Cochran in.
So the reason why I know all of this, because not only did I have my case in 98, he caught his case with Jennifer Lopez a few months later at the mine. So the same prosecutors and the same detective who arrested me came up to Rikers Island to talk to me to testify against Puff.
Right. Were you at that party?
I wasn't. This is the case, right? Yeah. I wasn't at the party. Yeah. They wanted me to lie.
Yeah.
And say I was at the party.
No, they wanted Diddy.
They wanted him.
Yeah.
They wanted me to lie to say that I saw Diddy with the gun. And they was going to bring me to the grand jury. But because I'm clever, I got them to get me out of Rikers, bring me down to the Tombs. So for 3 days while we was going out, I'm eating at the best restaurants. I'm having pizza. Because the food up there is horrible.
Yeah.
So after the 3 days and no decision was done, they took me back. Right before the grand jury, they brought me back down again. My attorneys was there. They came into my cell and they talking to me. They said, "Well, TK, what do you want to do? You want to help them out with the grand jury?" And I looked them dead in the eye and I said, "Nah, I'm good."
Did you ever tell Diddy that?
He heard. I'm quite sure I talked about it on the Breakfast Club and all that, but he knows about it. But I'm not trying to be Puffy's friend. You know?
Well, yeah, and you're also not trying to...
I said it so that he know that regardless of how it went down because of the kind of man I am, I wasn't going to take you under to testify against something, because when it came down to the credit card fraud thing, I didn't even snitch on the girl who put me through this, right? I took all the weight on that one. Never talked about the girl who set everything up, and I never took the deal to throw Puffy under the bus. And I just went on about my life, and I could honestly sit here today with my great friend Vlad and feel, know that I have integrity, know that over the years, I'm a man of character, a man of integrity, and I take pride in being that kind of man. This is why we do these interviews, to help these other people make great decisions and know that whatever your life is going through now, if you make good choices, you can extend it. But if you make bad choices, that death or that situation come a lot faster.
Tyreek Hill got arrested before his game, and the video circulated.
Yes.
Could be taken either way. It's a multifaceted
Great answer.
It's a multifaceted situation. I'm not going to say that either party's completely right.
Yes.
What was your take on it?
I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah.
Because I actually listened to other people, right? Got my hair cut, talked to my peoples yesterday, and I'm listening to everybody. And what I said today was, people give these answers based on their journey, what they've seen or what they've gone through in their lifetime up to this moment. So all I can tell people is, you do what you think is right for you at that moment. Because I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. When that cop say roll down your window, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll down my motherfucking window.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I'm going to do. You do what you want to do. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my hand on the steering wheel.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to say motherfucking yes, sir.
Yep.
Because what's the goal? Is to get home.
Well, he was on his way to a game, right?
No, I'm just using an example.
Yeah.
The goal is basically to get to where you go. For 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you're going to feel slightly maybe disrespected. You're going to slightly feel like you don't have to answer to no one. Okay, for 10 minutes, you give the motherfucker your ID, you shut the fuck up,
Get your ticket.
and you go on about your business. This is what I would do.
He can afford the ticket.
Yeah, this is what I do. You roll your window up, you put the motherfucking finger, you're going about your way.
Yeah.
Because I saw the video, so now I'm going to tell you what I saw for me, but nobody else. When that man said roll down your window, and you don't listen, this ain't motherfucking kindergarten. This ain't high school. Regardless of who you are, when that window rolls up and you cannot see on the inside, they have to protect themselves. They don't know if you're getting a gun. They don't know if you about to shoot them. Because when they say get out and they snatched him out, he said, I'm getting out the car. What did the officer say? It's too late. So y'all do what you want to do, because I've been doing these interviews and I'm on my Instagram every day. And for some of y'all, there's just a lot of y'all don't have no motherfucking common sense. I'm just going to keep it real. And I'm tired of just going back and forth with uneducated motherfuckers. It's really, and I normally don't curse that much on your shows. I'm just tired of the ignorance that we see in these interviews. I'm tired of the ignorance in the comments. I thought it was a game at first when I read the comments, that people were just saying stupid shit to be funny. People really believe some of the shit they are fucking commenting on, and I just can't take it no more. So I know what I would have done. I would have said, yes, sir, no, sir. Here's my ID. Yes, sir, I have a game in 2 o'clock. I'm sorry I was speeding, sir.
Was he speeding? Was that the reason?
That's
for
why he got a speeding ticket.
Okay, so you're speeding. You get caught.
Thank you.
You get pulled over. They ask for your license and you roll the window back up.
Now, the reason why I said you do what you want to do, because I bet you my life, you do that shit anywhere else in America, it won't be your day. What we just talked about, you can extend your life to go further, or you can make choices to end your life. Do that shit anywhere else, and you don't roll down your window. That's all I'm gonna say. It ain't a game, people. Y'all thinking they supposed to respect us. Yeah, they supposed to respect you. But use reverse psychology. Respect them. If you kill them with kindness, I heard a gentleman on First Take. He was saying that the cop was trained to de-escalate the situation. It ain't a fucking game. See, them niggas ain't been in the streets. I've been in the streets. Them motherfuckers ain't playing. So you say what you gotta say politely. Politely. No, sir. Sorry, sir. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with showing that you was raised right. It's nothing to show that you're a decent man. There's nothing wrong with it. You on your way to make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like you said, you could pay for the ticket.
Yeah.
You don't tell a motherfucker, do what you gotta do. Just give me my ticket, roll the window back up like you that motherfucker. You don't do that. Not where I'm from. I'm trying to figure out where the fuck I'm wrong at. When I saw her, was like, do what you gotta do, roll the window up like you that nigga. I said, what the fuck? This is what I said. And then to hear the arguments from everybody else that it was like the cop's fault. He had a choice to keep his window down, pay the ticket, and go on about. Because once the cops stop you, there are no rights.
Yeah, I mean, I think of all the times I've been pulled over by the police, and it's got to be at least, 30, 40 times.
Yes.
I wouldn't think to just roll the window up and say, do what you got to do.
I would never do no shit like that.
It doesn't even make sense to me. I wouldn't even, and I remember the first time I got pulled over, the first time I was 16, I was in high school. I had a bunch of friends in the car, and I remember when I saw the lights behind me, I always remember this. Growing up watching TV, my first instinct was, high-speed chase.
Yes.
That was the first thing I thought.
Right.
Luckily, my rationale kicked in and said, okay, just pull over, Vlad. You're not really doing anything. But I really wasn't.
Right.
You know, he pulled us over, whatever, spoke to us and sent us home, and it is what it is. But, yeah, roll down the window and say, do what you got to do. You're pulling your football star card on somebody. And that card it's not universal.
And the only reason why I'm afraid of it, because somebody else will see and think they can do the same thing.
Mm.
But this time it may not be a bunch of cops, it may not be traffic. It might just you and that person.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you see how these things work out. The cop might feel that you might have a weapon on you, or you're physically much stronger than him, and he goes into a fear mode, and he's got a gun. You don't. You don't want to
do what you want to do, people. I've seen the arguments.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what I would do. And I'll give an example. I'm coming out of the Lincoln Tunnel in New York. 2-something in the middle, hitting the Garden State Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because I know how they move, I see a cop car on the side in the parking lot with the high beams on, facing the highway, profiling. Now, I'm doing the speed limit because at my age, this is a couple years ago, I'm not in the mood of driving fast. And I'm in an all-white community. 10 minutes later, or 5 minutes, the cop is behind me, pulls me over. I pull in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot. So I said, I got my ID. I rolled the window down because he comes on the passenger side. And I fucked him up when I rolled the window down, I looked him dead. I said, I saw you profiling me. He was shocked. He said, what do you mean? I said, I saw you profiling me. I said, you was on the side of the highway with the lights on. And then he kept saying, well, just give me your ID. I don't want to give you, I'm just gonna check your ID. Well, if I didn't do nothing wrong, why am I giving you my ID? This is what I'm saying. Now, my ID is clean. I don't have no problems, but I know you profiling me, young man. So he started saying, yo, you're a big guy, blah, blah, blah. And I talked to him so well, and I still gave him my ID because my goal was to get to my hotel room. He must have told his sergeant that he said I was profiling, but the sergeant didn't talk to me when he got there. I was pulling off and I saw the sergeant because he had the white hat. So I saw him talking to him, but I know he was shocked. So that was 2 or 3 years ago. Before I went to France, I'm in that same area. I'm not saying it's the same cop, but I saw the cop the cars with the lights on, they still profile. So these things can go bad for people. All I want is for a man or woman to be respectful, because at the end of the day, all a cop wants is for you to respect them. Yeah, we know some fucked up cops out there. We know they do some bad things. We know this, but we can only take one situation at a time. And right now we talk about Tariq Hill. I don't want people to be, oh, so-and-so did this over here. Let's do one thing at a time. Tariq Hill situation.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got roughed up by NYPD. I got pulled over. My lights were off. And when they pulled me over, they looked at a suspended license. You know, they asked me to come out the car, and then they slammed me against, you know, the car. And I was like, yo, like, this is not necessary.
Yes.
But whatever. You know, I got booked. I went through the process, and I got out.
You're a
and
man.
that was that.
You're a man.
You know, did I feel disrespected at that moment? 100%. Did I talk some shit in the back seat of the car? Yeah, I talked some shit. They closed the window on me. But at the end of the day, I wasn't going to try to fight them, or, you know, I didn't roll the window up or whatever. You have asshole cops, but the goal is to just go through the process and get home.
That's
you
my
know
point.
that talking shit or whatever else is not going to get you a more serious charge, but fighting back or trying to resist arrest
That
or
gets
whatever
you an
else, that
extra
could escalate things into
Yes.
God knows what.
And-
so I just took my L and whatever, I got
And here's
out.
the thing that they don't know. When people say, oh, why did he get this charge and that person didn't? 9 times out of 10, that person had a record.
True.
See, people never take that into consideration. This person probably didn't have a record. This person, now let's make sure people understand how I'm not for the police. My brother got murdered by the police. My oldest brother. They shot my brother 7 times in Jersey City, New Jersey.
I don't know if we ever talked about this before.
No, we never have.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah, so my brother was stole cars for a living, right? And he kept stealing all the whole. But what was crazy about my brother, God bless him, is that he kept the car. He didn't sell the car. My brother would joyride in the car. So after years of high school, you know, you become, the cops got familiar with you. He was in jail. He got out. He had stolen another car. They went on a high-speed chase. And I guess he didn't want to go back to jail. So they blocked the streets off in Jersey City, New Jersey. You know, because he could talk on the walkie-talkie. So he blocked the street. And he went up on the sidewalk to go around the cop. And the cop pulled his gun out and shot him 7 times dead in the car. Like unloaded on him.
Wow.
And because of that time, what they do with you in the paper, they bring up your criminal history. They talk about how he was arrested 42 times. They talked about how he just been this habitual car thief, because they did that so that it would deter our family for pressing charges and suing. And that's what happened. And he never got justice for that, because from my side of the family, he was a career criminal. Did he deserve to get shot 7 times? No. But at that time, my money wasn't, my father was deceased. We didn't have that kind of money to go to court or whatever. And we had to live with that decision. So I just want people to know I'm not vouching for the police at all. I have my reasons too. But I'm a man at the end of the day. And I'm a man who wants to teach people the right thing. And the right thing is to do the right fucking thing.
Do you think in that moment when he started to drive on the sidewalk to get away, that the cop thought he was trying to run him over, possibly?
And that's what they said. They said
Yeah.
the cop said that he tried to run him over. And in everything I do, I look at things triple ways, right?
Yeah.
And he could have shot the tire in the car, right? He could have shot the tires in the car. But he actually shot him 7 times. It's a different ballgame when you overdo it that way.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it now at your age, who do you think has to bear responsibility for the outcome? Is it the cop or your brother?
Well, I believe in accountability. I always discuss accountability. Yeah. And when it would definitely be my brother, because at the end of the day, your choices depends on your choices depends on your consequences, right? And if he'd have never did that, he would have never got shot. right? If I never did the things I did, I would never have these type of stories. But some of us get to change our lives. Some of us do. I'm one of them. And some people don't.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know that if I pull out a gun, I can't predict what the next set of events will be.
Exactly.
But I have to assume that my death might result in that.
I totally agree with you. And the reason why you say, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm in Dayton, Ohio. I rent a car from Avis, a Dodge Charger, the truck though. So I'm there for a couple of days. I'm doing a show at the Funny Bone. So I don't want to take my wallet in with me, so I open up the armrest. It's a 9mm Glock. I called my homie. I said, yo, boy, I got this gun. I'm going to take this shit back. Come with me. My boy said, TK, whatever you do, don't take that gun on the plane or don't send it in the mail because you're going to get in trouble. I left the gun in there for a couple of days, right? But in my head, it's kind of funny what I'm about to tell you. I'm watching Franklin Saint on Snowfall. That's when it was in the time. And I'm thinking, I'm a grown man though, but in my head, I'm going through this moment. Franklin motherfucker Saint. And I started thinking about what you said, the consequences. I said, I was sitting in the car and I had the gun in my hand. And I had to drive from Dayton to Columbus, Ohio. Because if I take this gun with me and the cops stop me, I can't say this gun was in here prior to me renting the car, because once they check my record, they're not gonna give a fuck. Right? We already know I'm done. It's a wrap. Nigga, shut the fuck up. Who you think you're talking about? Nah, that ain't happening, right? If I take this gun and I hurt somebody with it, my children's lives is fucked up. Or I could be dead. So right before I go to Columbus, Ohio, I get up early that morning, I got my pajamas on, and there's a lake right by the hotel. I took the clip out and I threw it in the water. I don't have a strong arm. I look like I'm strong, but my arm strength is fucked up, right? I take that, I throw it, it lands on the sand. You can still see it. So I said, damn, if somebody comes through here and they get that gun,
you got your fingerprints on it, yeah.
Well, the water probably wipe it off, right?
Maybe.
But somebody could kill somebody because the gun is right there.
Yeah.
Because when you get that in your hand, it's a feeling of confusion. It's a confusion of power. Like it's so many things go through your mind, right? Yeah. So I actually had to walk down the side of this damn highway in my pajamas and house shoes down to that sand and get it and actually throw it in the water. And I went back up, took a shower, and I went to the airport. But that was one of the greatest choices in my life.
Deshaun Watson has new sexual assault charges.
Yes.
Now, you know about the story.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, I was looking him in his eyes today on First Take after I heard the new charges. And what I said is he's a sexual predator that got lucky and he's not understanding how blessed he is. Because, again, when you hear about the R. Kellys over the years, he didn't stop. When you hear Deshaun Johnson, who, not criminal cases, has civil cases, but going on 26 is embarrassing. Again, I'm thinking about my mother. I'm thinking about my brothers. I'm thinking about because you're a major star.
He's got 26 cases.
26. He settled. He had 26. He settled 25 already. This is 26.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So this, because of his new contract that was guaranteed, he was protected. But now this has happened after the first 2 years of his contract. And like I was telling the gentleman sitting next to us in here, I'm saying, what is it about men that will allow them to fuck up their livelihood over some ass? It's just not football players. It's the people who ran CBS. It's the Weinstein. It's not just black people. It's white people too, right? Yeah. Like, what is wrong with your mind to the point that you allow something between a woman's legs fuck up your bread?
Right, and the whole story with this new woman is actually kind of funny.
Yeah, because she said he asked for an ass massage.
Right. I guess they were going to have a date.
He was on a date, but she went in the bathroom. He took all his clothes off and was laying in the bed. And when she came out, the report said, he said, "Can you rub my ass?"
You can't make this stuff
Now,
up.
I don't know about y'all. I like my ass rubbed when I'm with my woman.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, rub my...
No Diddy.
Right, rub my back, babe, rub my ass. And then because I'm older than y'all, I like to get my knees rubbed.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
Something about your knees is a whole nother feeling. But I'm a knee guy.
You're a knee guy.
Rub my knees. Well, bitch, rub my knees, I love you for life.
Okay.
But to hear it, it's kind of embarrassing because it sounds fucking hilarious. But most men, you want your girl to rub your ass. It's a good feeling. Don't put the finger in my ass, but massage my ass. It's a good feeling. And I tell men, if you really love your girl and she's a little freaky, and she want to put a finger in, because some guys do that. I've talked to people. Just never let her go over the knuckle.
Stop with the knuckle.
Because once it goes over the knuckle, use it for life. You see her 20 years later because y'all broke up and she trying to be evil to you, and you know what she'll do? Hey,
I think
I did it in my stand-up.
Amber Rose said that about Kanye when they were beefing at one point.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, whatever a man does in his bedroom, that's on you. But be careful how you do it, because if you got a girl that'll tell your business afterwards, you're done. See, I take my children and my grandkids into consideration. I'm so righteous in bed, in the bedroom now, I don't want to do nothing crazy. When I say I really live a great life, I do that.
Someone brought this up in the comments, because sometimes when I do certain interviews, I say, what should I ask so-and-so in our next interview? Someone asked, how many women have you been with?
I've been around a long time. I won't put a number on it. I don't want to be like, what's the basketball player? Will Chamberlain.
Will Chamberlain.
Yeah, I would just say that I was slutty. I have to admit, I was slutty. I was a little hoe.
Okay.
You know, I ain't gonna lie. I was a slutty. Whatever that number means, I don't know. But I was a little slutty. And that's how come at my age, I'm disciplined. And I like to tell people my age, because women will say in interviews, oh, he got erectile dysfunction, his dick don't work. I'm here, let me with the camera. Hey hoes, my dick work. I took care of myself. I'm 64, that dick works. And I take pride in that. I really do.
Yeah.
And every now and then I go on a roll. Usually between September and January, that's my whole season.
Have you ever been in a long-term committed relationship?
Yeah, I think the longest has been 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a reasonable amount of time.
It's reasonable. Yeah, 5 years. I've done it twice in my lifetime.
Just twice?
Just twice.
Did you ever want to marry any of the women?
I think any woman I meet that day, I want to get married. Because what happens the next day that changes my fucking mind?
Bust that nut.
Yeah, we'll either bust that nut or you say something irritating. I'm so into what a woman says that if you really saying some stupid shit, it can really irritate me. One time I had a woman over my house and she sat in my couch, Vlad, and she put a foot in my couch. I'm looking at her like, bitch, who the fuck raised you? You don't put your foot in someone's couch, because all my stuff is white. She didn't have shoes on.
Oh.
But this is our first date. You that comfortable that you take your shoes off and you put your foot in a man's, on his couch? Nah. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. I got a white dining room set. I'm standing in the kitchen, girl comes as she's approaching me. She got a hand on my fucking white chair, but then she puts her knee in the chair where you sit, your ass goes on. All I'm saying is,
that was it, huh?
If I go over someone's house, I'm not walking all around, not doing that. I'm gonna sit. If I need something, I'm gonna ask, can you get it from me out of the refrigerator? I'm not going walk here. I'm not walking there because this is my first time in your home. And 2, I don't go to women's houses. I don't think I've been to a woman's house in over 20, 30 years.
Oh yeah, no, I mean we talked about this. The most violent moment of my life was me spending the night at a woman's house.
Yep,
and
okay, doing that.
Crazy ex-boyfriend jumps in through the window. Yeah,
And I want men to stop moving
get
in
a
with
hotel.
women. Yeah, and you know I want men to stop moving in with women because you know what they don't think about? You might be sleeping on the same side her ex was sleeping on, in the mattress.
Yeah, listen, I'd heard. I don't know whether this is true. I don't know if this is totally true, but I've heard from a couple people. Because remember, there was that whole situation with Trouble?
Yes.
From Atlanta. He took that girl home, and then her ex-boyfriend shows up and ends up killing him.
Yeah.
Notice how you don't hear a lot about that case recently.
Yeah, what happened?
What I heard is that although they were somewhat broken up, he was still living there at one point. And it was like less than 30 days or something of that sort. So technically that was his home. So they're saying that the shooting might end up being self-defense because now there's a person in his home that he did not approve of. And once the details come out.
That's a clever ass attorney.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that is a clever, because I knew that young man.
Oh, you met him before?
Yeah, yep.
Trouble, you mean, yeah.
Yeah, I got a picture of us hanging together.
Yeah, man, he was a mainstay in Atlanta. I mean, he was definitely a very known figure. But, you go to another woman's house, and I'd heard that the boyfriend showed up and started beating up the girl or whatever, and then he tried to intervene, and then, I don't know whose gun it was. It may have been Trouble's gun. It may have been that guy's gun. But ultimately,
that happened to me.
He may walk free.
Twice, Vlad. It happened to me like in the early 80s, late 80s. I'm in Newark, New Jersey. Got my cousins with me. They Muslims, so they got a whole patrol squad. But this guy walked right by them. They didn't know what was going on. We was in an apartment building. I'm laying in bed with the girl. Dude opens the door. It's about heartbeats.
So a man walks in, and you're with his girl. What does he do?
He just starts tripping with her. He's actually putting his finger in her vagina to see if I nutted in her.
Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. And what were you doing when this was happening?
I'm looking like,
Are you naked during this time?
I think I was naked.
My situation, I was naked
this
also.
Shit is crazy, man.
Yeah, man.
And all this stuff happened to me young, but it could have been the end. Could have been the end. So guys, if you can't take a girl to a hotel, and that's no guarantee, because I actually had a girl in the hotel once too, and this is before GPS and all this. This nigga found that girl. He must have went to every room, on every floor, because it was in New York, one of them fly-ass hotels.
Wow.
I was doing something with Atlantic Records.
He knocked on every door.
He had to.
That's crazy.
Because there was no GPS then. There was no way. He had to literally go to every room and listen. Wow. Women scare me, man.
Yeah. They scare all of us.
Yeah, women scare me.
They scare all of us. Yeah,
Yes.
man, listen, unless you guys are now in a relationship and it's been some time, and so forth, yeah, man, start with the hotel.
Start with a hotel.
Start with a hotel.
I totally agree.
Get to know her.
Do not, I'm going to repeat, I'm sorry to scream. Do not go in no woman's house.
Yes. Not in the beginning.
Not in the beginning.
Yeah.
Not. Don't do it.
Even taking her to your house, I think, is a little sketchy.
Yeah, even taking the house is a little sketchy.
Get a hotel.
Because you see the stories now of women setting the guys up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
This shit's crazy
If you
out
can't
here.
afford to take a woman to a hotel, you should not be dating right now.
Listen. I agree.
You can't afford to date. There were times in my life I couldn't afford to date.
Yes.
And that's okay. That's okay.
That's
There's nothing wrong with
motivation.
that. That's motivating you to get more money so you can finally
you,
afford to actually have a woman.
Think because I said have
and
your
take
money
care
together.
of the bills or whatever
Yes.
expenses in your own way.
They think that when I talk this way, that I'm hating on young men who don't have money. I'm just giving
And
you
it's
the
not
game.
tricking.
It's not tricking.
Yeah.
You just, there's certain things that you deserve. How about that? You deserve a nice hotel room. You deserve to play the part of really being and having your situation together. And don't get me wrong, you was poor. I was poor.
Yeah.
We was poor. we're not saying that we better than you, because we actually live like that.
Not at all.
From our experiences, we're sharing with you what not to do. We're telling you what to do, and it's a better feeling.
Listen, I remember when I first moved to New York, where first I was sleeping on couches, then I was finally able to get my own place, but I couldn't afford a bed at the time.
Yes.
So I was sleeping on an inflatable bed, and I remember taking a woman home and having sex with her on the inflatable bed, and it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed. And in fact, I think she spent the night, we woke up and it deflated. So we woke up on the hard floor. It was embarrassing. I remember she talked bad about me to some of my friends who hooked us up afterwards. Like, it's embarrassing.
And I don't know if they have the hotels. I'm much older than you, but they used to have hotels you could pay for an hour.
Yeah.
And you had to leave.
Yep.
And I used to go, in
Jersey, it's called the short stay.
Yeah, it used to be these hotels on Tunnelly Avenue in Jersey City. And I remember I used to bring women there, pay $75, had my mother's car, go in there and do my work. Now the girls are sleeping. Bitch, we gotta go. I gotta take this car back and I gotta drive you off.
It's been 2 hours.
Right, the $75 is up. But I don't know if they have that anymore. But gentlemen, if you can, get your money first. You will have a better experience.
Mm-hmm.
And get a credit card. Yeah. Because they don't, cash, you're not seeing too much cash lately. Because you stay at hotels like I do. Mm-hmm. It's hard to really tip. I mean, well, it's not for us. We'll go to the bank and make sure we have some money on us so that we could tip. But you're not seeing currency as much as we used to.
Yeah. Well, Dame Dash lost a lawsuit. And as part of the lawsuit, he was forced to sell his 1/3 stake in Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt.
Yes.
And this has had some interesting twists and turns. Because at one point, Jay-Z made an announcement that says that under the Section 203 of the Copyright Act, after 35 years, whoever created a piece of music will get it back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been 30 years.
Yes.
So what he said was, because now this asset is going up to auction, and Jay-Z made an announcement that said that whoever buys it will only own it for 5 years.
Right.
Because at 35 years, the ownership will go back to Jay anyways.
Right.
Of course, like Dame was saying, he was hating or trying to drive down the price. If I was Jay, I wouldn't even bother buying it. What's the point?
Right.
I'll get it back in 5 years. Y'all can go spend a bunch of money on it.
Right.
And I remember Dame made this video that said that whoever spends more than $10 million will get a Rockefeller chain. To me, that's the equivalent of buying a new car and them throwing in an air freshener.
Let me tell you, Vlad. The older we get, I don't know if people don't have common sense or they just do things just to be doing it. But social media has been such detrimental to a lot of hip hop artists. They have an avenue that they get on, and sometimes they talk so much that it starts looking crazy. Rick Ross talk about his pool, and he's so rich to me, and I respect him so much that I think when you get rich, you're supposed to be quiet and lay in the cut, and you out. And I don't have that kind of money, but I'm still in the south of France. He got more money than me, but I'm still in the south of France living a nice, quiet life. Like, I really live in France. I really doing my thing. I wish I had that bread. I'd be in one of them fucking yachts that I see. Like, I'll really be doing a whole nother level. When I see Damon Dash, he's always been a very passionate man. I respect him. He's always given game. And then when you think about that 1/3 of Rockefeller,
Reasonable Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
And you think about how all your business comes out, right? Because now the state wants a piece because he owes 20-something million.
I heard $8 million in
$8 million in taxes.
That's a lot of money.
Then he owes child support $145,000.
Yeah.
And I just don't like when your business gets in the streets, right? And then you see him going back and forth with 50. You see his teeth falling out his mouth.
Yeah, the teeth thing, that's what shook me up. I actually reposted the video and I said, Dame's dentures do the dash. You can use that in your show if you want. Dame's dentures do the dash.
And that hurt me when I saw that.
Here's the thing. He's only 53 years old. I'm 51. He's only 2 years older than me. I have all my teeth.
He could talk about all he want with the gold or whatever. They don't take your teeth out.
No. He actually said that he has, like, he actually pulled out his teeth. And
I saw that.
He has no teeth. Now, listen, I don't know. I remember I was on Drink Champs, right? And I remember they brought up his name. And I said, look, me and Dame have had some back and forth and so forth, but it's really not that serious.
Yes.
It's just internet, social media shit, whatever. I even put it out there that if he wants to come back and do VladTV, I'll even throw him some money and like let's do some business together because he is actually a very interesting personality.
Yes.
That I respect. And we've had our little back and forth, but it's whatever.
Right.
But what I said was, all jokes aside, when I hear him speak and he's slurring his words, he sounds messed up.
Yes.
He sounds sick for someone of his age to sound like that.
Yes.
And then when I see the teeth gone, I said, here we go.
Right.
That was my point this whole time.
Yes.
It sounded like he had no teeth.
Yes.
Listen, I don't know what really happened. They're saying he is diabetic or whatever else, but I know
What's that got to do with your
diabetics.
teeth?
I don't know either. For me, whenever I've seen people missing their teeth to that extent, it's been drugs. Every single time.
Yeah, or just got bad rotten teeth. But to see that actually come out, man.
To lose, look, Whitney Houston was missing half her teeth when she died.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was an autopsy. Half her teeth were missing. Drugs. Cocaine, crack, whatever else. Meth, I don't know what she was taking. They even accused her of taking crack. Definitely was cocaine.
Right.
To me, I'm thinking drugs. I don't know if it's true or not, so Dame, you can't sue me over this. Whenever I've seen people that are missing their teeth, that many teeth, not one tooth.
Right.
The whole top teeth and so forth, that to me is someone who is a drug addict. And I hate to see it.
And my thing with Damon Dash, man, I remember me, him, Foxy Brown, Jay-Z, we all kicking it backstage. And I'm so, to this day, I still admire them when we were kids, right? I remember when they first came out and Jay-Z did my birthday party for me up in Harlem. I was 35 years old. And Zip, everybody was there. And I was 35. And this is before Jay-Z blew up. And he did my birthday party. And almost didn't let him perform because my crew, we were so successful and we had so much money. And with the bottles, the women, they were late. And I didn't want him to go on. And my guy pulled me to the side and said, nah, T, let him go on. And he went on to turned it out. And they showed love to me down the line because they took me on the Hard Knock Life tour.
Mm-hmm.
And all that was just history. And he was passionate then because some security dude that probably weighed 320 pounds said something to Dame. He was so passionate. I don't know in my heart if he could have really beat this dude, but he was so passionate. He took his diamonds off. He's gonna fight this big fella, man. And I know that dude would have whooped his motherfucking ass. This is what I know this for a fact. But he's so passionate that sometimes it gets in his way.
Well, you know the Steve Stout story, right?
No.
Okay. Dame, I believe, told the story too, himself. And I've had people tell me the story that were actually there when it happened. So Dame's thing, if you watch some like the Rockefeller, like I forgot the documentaries they put out or whatever, Dame was always screaming at people that were trying to do business with Jay-Z without going through him.
Right.
He had a chip on his shoulder when it came to that.
Yes.
So remember there was the Jay-Z sneaker, the S. Carters.
Yes.
That Reebok
I remember that.
put out. Steve Stout worked that deal out with Jay-Z directly because I think at the time Dame was like in Europe and he was traveling, taking private jets everywhere, whatever else. So he set it up. Jay said, cool. They set it all up. Dame got back into town and heard about this deal. Now, if anyone who remembers, in the Universal building, Def Jam kind of had like this whole floor.
Yes.
And Rockefeller was on one side and Steve Stout had like the corner office on the other side. Dame got into the office, stormed into Steve Stout's office and smacked him in the face. And I remember someone that was there said that you heard the smack, then you heard a loud bang because Dame's watch, he was wearing a Rolex. If he hit him so hard, his Rolex fell off and slammed against the wall.
Wow.
So, Dame won that battle, right?
Yes.
He smacked Steve Stout. You fast forward, however many years, whatever, 20 years later, 25 years later, Steve is a multi-millionaire. He still works closely with Jay-Z. He works closely with Nas. He has a successful company. Dame doesn't have any teeth. He's $8 million in the hole with the IRS, and he's having to sell his last asset for pennies on the dollar. Because I remember I talked to a friend of mine who used to be the president of the biggest publishing company in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you were just to eyeball it, how much do you think Dame gets a year from this stake in Reasonable Doubt? He goes, well, if he has the publishing as well, which is, we don't know, at the very most, $1 million a year. So you got an asset worth $1 million a year for 5 years maximum. Anyone who bids on this, who has any sense at all, will probably offer maybe $2.5 million, maybe $3 million at the very most.
I don't think he gets everything
This
he
whole
wants.
$10 million, whatever, is all a pie in the sky. Oh, let me throw in a chain. No one
Right.
cares about this chain.
Because when I saw that, you know what I said? Somebody got that kind of money, they could buy their own damn chain.
And it's not like that's the only Rockefeller chain there is. Look at how many chains Jay-Z has given out over the years.
Yes.
Lil Uzi Vert has a chain. Big
Yes.
Sean has a chain.
Right.
Like, everyone fucking has Rockefeller chains.
Right.
It's not a rarity.
And here's the thing about what all that we're saying. Your choices come back to bite you on the ass. But as men, as we say here today, Damon Dash, I could say this for Vlad, I could say this for myself. We truly wish you the best, young man. You know, like we're talking about you, not in a bad way, and not a good way, but we want you to know what your journey has been to the world, because you are on social media every day. You're talking every day, and some people just need to get their money and lay low and just live out their life. No one cares, and I truly wish he stopped talking about Jay-Z. In all his interviews, it's always about Jay-Z. And I'm just one of those guys. He's talking about Harlem, talking about streets. You know, I roll in Harlem a lot. And my crew, people I rock with, they would never move like that. They would never move like that.
Yeah.
And I love them and still do. I love him as a person. I just hate to see his life like that, because he was really, I remember driving down the street. We was in the fly-ass car. He wanted to know how we got the cars and shit. He was in this bad Benz. Gorgeous. Had some guy in the car with him. He's like, T to the motherfucker K. I'm drinking a Pepsi, got the seat back. When we, you know, I'm a street nigga at that time. And we see him and shit. He was doing good, because the car he was pushing.
Yo, listen, Dame had the life that we all wanted. I remember interviewing someone from that crew a while back, and he would fly private everywhere. They'd be in France. They'd take a private flight to Amsterdam just to smoke some weed. Like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like that type of shit. You know how much, I mean, that's probably like a $50,000 flight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had it all. When I met him, I thought he was cool as shit. He did an interview on my platform, and then he asked me to do an interview with him. It was cool. And then at one point, it went bad.
It went bad.
It went bad. And I was like, listen, to me, it ain't no big deal. But he kept talking bad about me publicly. I started talking bad about him publicly. But to me, it's always been like, yo, at some point, you have to deal with reality and say, let me just humble myself. Let me not pretend like I'm this super CEO with all this success.
Yes, I just want him to win, man.
Yeah.
Let me
If
tell you
he
what I
humbled
think
himself,
about.
I mean, he almost reminds me of Suge in a way.
Yes.
Another CEO who drank his own Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Had they just humbled themselves and been cool with people and formed real relationships with people, You know, I mean, because Dame had a falling out with me, with Adam, like lots of people, like lots and lots of people that I've dealt with have had falling outs with him. You know, just like Suge.
Yes.
Suge's had falling outs with lots of people I've dealt with.
Right.
They might have been where they were before, but they could have maintained a comfortable
and that's
lifestyle.
the word, maintain.
Maintain, like an MC Hammer.
Yeah.
MC Hammer, people like to talk their shit, but he's still comfortable. He's still making money.
Yes.
He sells royalties. He lives, I'm sure, in a mansion, drives nice cars. Yeah, he's not doing big sold out arenas, but that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Because we're older. And a man told me years ago, the money does stop one day. You just got to be ready.
Right.
And one of my stories about Dame.
Well, but if you have the right investments, it actually doesn't stop.
Thank you.
See?
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the thing. The incoming money might stop, but the investments will still make money.
If you're smart.
And that's mine.
That's mine.
That's my strategy.
That's my strategy as well. I remember in Philadelphia, Jay-Z and Damon Dash had made it. And then we could go on something else. They pull into the arena, coming through backstage. Show hasn't started, but I'm standing there in the cut. Jay-Z is in one of the most fly-ass Bentleys I've ever seen in my life. Burgundy with the cream top. I remember like it was yesterday. Jewelry, must have been Jacob the Jewel or whatever. Because the shit was, when he hit the stage, that ice lit that motherfucker up like it was the lights from the arena. And that's the moment I remember them. And I remember saying to myself, when I saw Damon Dash come out to actually sing with Jay-Z, this is going to be his downfall. He thought he was an artist.
Yeah, he started a rock band not too long ago. At like 50 years old. It was like, I didn't
He was on stage performing with Jay.
Yeah.
And I said, that's going to be his downfall. Because when you're a manager, to stay longevity from what I've seen.
You gotta stay behind the scenes. Yeah.
And be quiet.
Yeah.
You get the money, you make your moves. No one knows who you are. And you're going about your business. So, wish you well, Damon Dash. That's all we can say. We all
do
getting
too.
older.
And Dame, you have an invitation back on VladTV. Whenever you want. Call me up. You still have my number.
Still the same.
Still the same. There's no real beef with us. I've had real beef. This is not that.
Yes, yes.
This is just some internet back and forth.
I want as that man gets older, I want him to have a decent life. I see he has his network or whatever, he's doing all this stuff. I don't know if he's making real money on it.
There's no traffic. I remember someone called me up and asked me about that, and I looked it up, and I'm like, there's no traffic here, so there's no money here.
Okay, yeah.
So you could talk all this big CEO, I'm a big media, whatever, mogul, but when you look at the traffic of that website, it's almost nothing. So,
wow. So
it
it's
is
just
what it is.
It's just there.
Yeah, it's just
what they call
there.
it, a skeleton.
Yeah, pretty much.
A skeleton website.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
pretty much.
Wow. Wish you the best, Dame. God bless you.
Well, Keefe D.
I thought about him in the car. I was here and wondering if we was going to bring him up.
Still in jail, and recently he had a court date where he said that he was assaulted by the jail guards. Now, here's what I heard the situation was about. This is inside information.
Okay.
He's an older man. He's in his 60s.
Yes.
And when you have jail beds, you have one thin mattress.
Yeah.
But sometimes you could get an extra mattress and you could double it up.
Yes. Yes, I've seen that.
So he had doubled up his mattress.
Yes.
Most times, the jail would just look the other way and not care.
Okay.
But I guess some of the jail guards were like, well, this is not allowed. We need to get rid of this other mattress. And he started to get angry, and a physical situation occurred where he got beat up by the jail guard.
Right.
And now he's saying that he was set up or something, but that's what I heard the situation is about.
Yeah, the thing about I've been in that jail too, by the way, in
Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah, and all I want to tell the world is once you get locked up, you have no rights.
Right.
It's not Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about you.
Right.
Just don't go, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, what most of y'all think it's a game. until you hear that cell close up on your ass at night. I remember being in LA County. It must have been, it was only 4 beds. It was like maybe 8 of prisoners in that cell. So we couldn't sleep on the floor because late at night, you could hear the rats going through the tunnel like an army. So me and this guy had to sleep on the top. He slept face up that way. I slept that way.
Oh, you guys had to share a bed?
Had to share a bed.
Yo, a grown man.
Yes, sir.
Sharing a bed with another grown man.
Because there was that many rats, man. It was that bad. Like I'm talking about like an army, Vlad. An army. It was that many. So if you slept on that floor, you could have woke up dead.
Wow.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
So I tell people, then they used to wake you up in the middle of the night, the COs, and take you to the top of the roof. 2 o'clock in the morning.
To do what?
Just to do count, or they just do that to disrupt and fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know, got you sitting on top of the roof, you folding your arms and shit, you know. Some fucked up shit, man. And if you're not mentally tough, you could really lose it.
Yeah, I remember.
Or they don't do their job.
Yeah.
You sitting there, you know you next. The motherfucker go take a break. 2 hours of shit. You sitting there trying to get shit done.
Yeah. I remember I interviewed Terrence Gangster Williams recently. And, you know, he's said on camera that he killed 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that every so often he'll start thinking about somebody that did him dirty. And he's like, man, I should kill that guy. But then like that turns into like 5 other people that have something to do with the situation or whatever else. And he has to check himself and he says, well, if I do that, they got a place for me. And those words have always echoed since I heard that. They got a place for you.
Yes.
You could do whatever you want. There is nothing stopping you from doing whatever you want. You could kill whoever you want, stab, shoot, run over, sell drugs, beat up your baby mother, you know, stab your kids, whatever the hell you want to do, you could do it. And they have a place for you. It's reserved.
Yes.
It's reserved for you. There's a bed. There's meals.
Yes, sir.
It's right there waiting for you.
They got a place for you.
They got a place for you.
I've been saying that for years. And
they got a place for you.
Act up if you want to.
Yeah.
Don't roll your window down if you don't want to.
Right. Tariq Hill. You know, when he got arrested,
yes,
he got locked up.
He got locked up.
I'm sure it wasn't for a long time.
Right.
But it's better to be
They
sitting in your
not
McLaren
playing.
going to go to the game as opposed to sitting in a dirty jail cell.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And now here's what's interesting. Well, he was supposed to be bailed out. Whack 100 was putting up his bail.
Yes.
But I remember on my show, he talked about this. He actually volunteered the information. It's not like I purposely brought it up. He said, yeah, I'm going to bail out Keefe and we're going to do some content. We're going to shoot like a series on him and so forth. And that interview was played during the bail hearing in court. And they didn't block it, but they kind of delayed the whole situation. So, because it's not really illegal. Right now, Keefe D hasn't been proven guilty.
Right.
So you could do whatever videos or whatever you want.
I agree.
This is not the Son of Sam law of profiting from your crimes or whatever else. So it's a weird situation, but I brought Whack in afterwards and he was like, he wasn't mad at me. He was like, hey, I brought it up. I didn't think they were going to do this, but we got to deal with it and so forth. But he's still locked up. And I believe he has cancer. And I believe he talked about that, about how he's not really being given the proper care and so forth. You're not going to get the same doctors in a jail that you are in the real world. So, I mean, it's a sad situation. I don't want to see him go to jail. That wasn't my intention whenever I interviewed him.
Yeah, God bless him, man. Again, I take everybody's situation when I hear it, and I say, I wish that person well, but God, thank God it's not me.
Well, this was established because not only did I speak to Greg Kading about this, but I also did an interview recently with Bill Courtney, the detective. He was involved in this as well. So this is I believe is a fact at this point because I even got the plane ticket. They actually flew Keefe D out, after he confessed to the whole Tupac situation. They flew him out to New York with a wire to set up your man Von Zip. Do you know that?
Nah.
Yeah.
And I know Zip ain't fall for that shit.
No, he didn't fall for it.
Zip is one of the...
Nope.
Listen, when we would go shopping, Zip would get in 20 cars before we got into the main car, before we got to the
you just jump from car to car?
We would go from car 10 blocks. I thought that was just in the movies when I saw it.
So he had cars he owned parked in different
Zip
locations?
had cars, my man.
Wow.
We would get in one car, do that.
Someone told me, I forgot who this was, said that before he passed, he was dating Puffy's mom.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
thought that was a money grab. That's what I said. Motherfucker. That's exactly what I said. That motherfucker.
Oh, you talked to him about it?
Yeah, I said that motherfucker Zip. Because me and his sister's tight too to this
Okay.
day. Right? I said that motherfucker Zip. He's something else. But
Yeah.
Zip something. Zip a player, man.
Yeah, no,
Zip
I
a
remember
player.
when I interviewed Mike Tyson, he said, how basically Zip basically stole like a few $100,000 from
Yes.
Don King.
Yes.
He just finessed him out the money.
At all my shows, I give flowers at the end of my shows. I have champagne. And that's because of Zip.
Huh.
Zip, it's not in his honor. It's just for me to remember him because regardless of what people he's done things to, whatever, I know another side. I knew when his mother was alive. I go way back. He owned a store up in Harlem. And Zip used to be on a motorcycle. It's a true story. And when he got to the light, he would drink champagne. And the thing he would always say is, we ride and we sip. So every time we stop at light,
Drinking and driving,
right,
whatever.
he will be pouring champagne. So my whole crew from Cleveland to Chicago, if they come pick me up from the airport, you know what our rule is? We all got to give each other a bottle of Cristal, ice cold, and we
I
drink
love
it
it.
in the car.
I
We
love it.
really them dudes, yo. So when we see the young rappers coming up, and the reason why they had the problems that they did, because they tried to live a life that my crew was actually living. And that has to be in your DNA to be that kind of man. So I always tell people now from what I learned, money at a young age creates ego. Money at a older age creates character.
I've never heard that before. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
It's so
I'm going to
true.
use that. I'm going to borrow that from
Yeah, there. It creates, it's ego. When you get money young, it's your ego.
You're right.
So you're pulling women because of money, but not because of your character, not because of your substance.
Well, also, when you get it young, and I went through this when I lost all my money at like 29 or so, 28, 29. When you first get it young, you assume it'll keep coming like that forever.
Yes.
When you get it older and you've lost it a few times, you realize that that's just a fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a dream.
Yes.
You're getting it now. Be happy you're getting it now and prepare for when it slows down
Right.
and goes away.
Yes. I hold on to everything. I hold on to everything.
Yeah.
Listen to me again. I hold on to everything. Everything.
Well, another interesting tidbit that's been circulating around recently. Whack 100 put this out. He talked about jailhouse audio of Suge Knight talking to someone over a prison phone that basically said that the rumor about Tupac getting sexually assaulted in prison was true. And I heard that audio.
Mm-hmm.
And Suge basically said, yeah, they should put it out there because that's,
And what's the purpose of it? What's the purpose of saying if he did get assaulted?
Well, the talk was around John Singleton wanting to put that scene into the Tupac movie. And then when the producers saw that, they got angry and they kicked Singleton off the project and got Benny Boom.
Really?
But, Singleton wanted that scene in there as well as a scene of Afeni having a lesbian relationship, which I heard was true as well.
Okay.
And there's been rumors about this. I think Chino XL, who recently passed, kind of rapped about it. That's why Pac hated him and whatever. So Suge kind of co-signed that actually happened. And what's interesting, and this isn't out yet, when I interviewed Bill Courtney recently, the detective, he said that he spoke to someone that said that Jimmy Henchman got Tupac sexually assaulted in prison. That assault was actually based on Jimmy pulling the trigger. I don't know whether it's true or not. This is something that Bill Courtney said, but Bill basically said that this would explain the extreme anger that Pac had when he got out of prison. Think about that. You're there for a sexual assault charge.
He wasn't in that long.
He wasn't. But he was in long enough for something like that to happen.
Yeah, shit, only take one day.
Only take one day.
Only take one day.
And I remember, I spoke to people like Mano. It was like, no, that couldn't possibly happen because I was locked up in the same prison he was in at one point or whatever.
The but, though. Here's the but.
Here's the but. No pun intended.
He was in Rikers.
He was in Rikers, yeah.
They don't move like that in Rikers.
Huh. Well, he was in Rikers, but then he went to another prison. He was in Rikers the whole time.
Yeah, he was in Rikers the whole time.
Yeah. I do know, I remember reading something to the point where when he got to prison, I think the actual state prison that he was locked up in, that because of his stance against police, the COs all hated him and they would fuck with him because of that, right? Because COs and cops, they're all kind of the same.
Here's my other
thing. Same umbrella.
I'm thinking about what you're saying. I've been all through there. When you're a celeb, whether you want to or not, they put you in protective custody.
Correct.
You know what protective custody is like? You only come out 1 hour a day. Can't nobody get to you. Let me repeat it. Can't nobody get to you. And when me, Tupac, and the Menendez brothers was locked up down here in LA County, and we was all in protective custody. Even though we was there for a while, you know what? We never saw each other. Now, one time was Now, one time we was able to shake each other's hand. Now, one time we was all in the same area together. We was all in the same tier, but we couldn't see each other. Rick James, the Menendez brothers. Now, I'm not saying this couldn't have happened.
Yeah, listen, we'll never really know unless someone comes forward and say, I raped Tupac. But I do know, like, hearing stories about this, about, like, reading articles back in the day, I think it was maybe Vibe or something, where, like...
And because of how I think right now, I'm going to share something with you. I don't even think it's something we should discuss. I think that happened to him, God bless him, it's not of our concern, right?
Right.
It's not our concern.
What I was going to say, though, and this is not that, was like the COs in the prison hated him so much. Because remember, he had shot 2 cops.
Yes.
In Atlanta. Fuck the police was all throughout his music. And like they would do things like, for example, when he would have visits, when like the Jada Pinkett's would visit him, they would like do extra cavity searches on him and stuff like that, just to mess with him.
Again,
and they're like, oh, look, here goes the gangster rapper. Like, let's just fuck with him.
Again, I knew how they loved me, right?
Yes, but the police did not. The people loved Tupac. The police hated Tupac because he hated the police. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Hey, God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Well, you said something interesting. You said Russell Simmons and R. Kelly were true gentlemen towards women.
True or wasn't?
They were not true gentlemen.
Yes, yes, and let me explain to you what I mean. When you hear some of the stuff come out about what you hear about R. Kelly and Russell Simmons, it's kind of embarrassing.
Well, I know Russell Simmons. Me and Russell Simmons are actually friends. I haven't heard anything from Russell Simmons that I felt was really wrong. Yes, some women said that, this happened 30 years ago, and I said no, and he said yes. That to me is just hearsay.
Yes.
And you know how it works out. A woman doesn't, listen, we've all sold women dreams in our own way.
Right.
Right.
So
oh,
true.
baby,
I
yo,
agree.
look, if you, I see this potential in you, we could really build something together. And you just, once you fuck, you're like, never mind.
And let me straighten so the women understand this, because they think that men really just do that to be lying. But sometimes our intentions are very
Sometimes
sincere.
you believe it.
But then
and you get to know the person, you're like, never mind. No,
exactly.
this is not the person I want to invest my time
Exactly.
into. But the woman feels like, damn.
Once we say it, we're
once you
supposed to
say
hold
it, we're supposed to hold on
But
to
no,
it.
baby,
You sold me a dream, and now you're
intention-
just, and now I feel used.
My
and so
intentions
forth.
was good.
Yeah.
But baby, as the night went on, sex probably wasn't good. You probably said something that turned me off.
Yeah.
You probably had on a wig and you took the wig off and laid it on the doorknob, and you wasn't the same bitch I saw when I bought you from the club, right? These things happen. Because what women don't understand about men, we are visual. Or I'm kissing you and your eyelash is so long that water's coming down my eyes, because as you're talking, the wind, the water's running down my eyes because you got these long ass eyelashes on.
Did you see the video with Ari Spears where we had that? He's wearing the fake eyelashes.
No.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me pull it.
Shout out to Ari Spears.
So, what had happened was, Ari Spears made a video that started to go viral, where he basically was like clowning women, specifically black women, having these huge, like, pterodactyl winged eyelashes.
Yes.
Right? And everyone's like, stay out of black women's business. Oh, you're fat and, you have no right to say it. So I brought him in for an interview to address, what people are saying. And before the interview, I had a makeup artist there that actually put the eyelashes on him. So he was wearing sunglasses at the time. So in the middle of the interview, this happened.
This shit looks ridiculous. No man has ever said, yo, you know what would make her look hotter? Pterodactyl wings on the face, nigga. What the fuck is this? These shits look like BBLs for your face.
Hilarious. And that's so true.
And this is comedy for it. People are like, oh, he's wearing eyelashes like a girl. No, Aries is a comedian. This was a comedic moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so true. I was going through the airport, and this girl eyelashes was about that long. And it's we can't speak up and say, women think that when we talk, we're putting them down. Women think that when we're telling you what a man likes, you can't tell us how to dress, you can't tell us what to wear. And that understanding Western civilization has really, we enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but it's really devalued the way a woman should move. Because when you overseas a lot, I'm overseas a lot.
Yeah, women are more modest. They cover up. Go to Dubai. You'll really get to see it.
One of my friends was going to Dubai. She showed me a dress she was wearing. And it's like, I said, bitch, you ain't gonna make it back. They gonna arrest you. That's what I told her. I said, if you wear that dress in Dubai, you're going to prison. And this is a fact.
Yes.
And she didn't wear it. But she showed me the dress that she was wearing. I said, I'm glad that, I'm glad we see each other, because you will not make it back to America.
Yep. But yeah, Tupac was a gentleman to that girl that night.
Yes.
And I remember speaking to his co-defendant, Madman, about this. And look, Tupac met this girl at the club. She allegedly gave him head on the dance floor. She was freaky. They had sex a bunch of times. She came back to see him.
You're going to laugh about this. I was there.
Wait, what?
This has happened in New York City. I'm gonna tell you who all was there. It was me, Haitian Jack, Tupac, and we was on the dance floor. And what made that situation bad is because my man Haitian was able to separate the case.
Yeah.
They wasn't tried together.
You were cool with Haitian Jack?
It's my man.
Oh, okay.
What?
Let me tell you something. I interviewed Bill Courtney recently, and what happened was they had basically raided his house, Haitian Jack's house.
In Atlanta or New York? Regardless,
I don't remember. I don't want to say the wrong place. I actually think it was L.A., but I'm not exactly sure. And right after the raid, he got deported and he never came back to the U.S., right?
Okay.
He actually pulled out some photos from the safe that they had actually opened up.
Yes.
There is a picture of Haitian Jack and Bill Clinton together.
I can believe it. Haitian Jack, Mike Tyson, all hung out. We hung out at the Versace house in Miami. We hung out with Madonna.
Yeah, him and Madonna. There's actually explicit photos of Madonna at one of his parties, like topless and all that type.
It was tight.
He was messing with Madonna.
Yeah, that's how I got to meet Madonna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
Okay, so hold on. Let me get back to the story. Yeah. Me and you could go off on tangents. So you were there when Tupac met Ayanna
I forgot
Jackson.
the name of the club. It was on 14th Street in New York.
Okay.
And it was one of the biggest clubs. I forgot what it was called.
Well, I interviewed Ayanna Jackson about this whole incident.
Yeah, it was what it was called. Because it was the spot.
Yeah.
This was the spot. This is when oh my God. When that club, oh man, I wish I could think. See if we could pull up the name of that club that happened in.
Can't find it.
Okay, but he said it might be Mel's. It might be Mel's. But shout out to Haitian Jack. I know I was supposed to see him when I was in Dominican Republic because they tried to reach out to me and I didn't get back to him because I've been traveling so much.
Yeah.
But nice, regardless of what everybody that I hear problems with, they was always good to me.
Yeah, I used to talk to Jack right around the time of this Ayanna Jackson interview. I remember he was really mad. He left his voicemail, this angry voicemail. Not really mad at me, but just mad at her because she claimed that he had sex with her. And he goes, I never had sex with her. I never touched her. Like,
right.
You know, blah, blah.
I keep your name alive, Haitian Jack. You're my man, dog.
So you were at the club when Pac met that girl?
Yes, everybody, we know you see each other, everybody going about their business. So, but then I heard what happened.
Did she give him head on the dance floor?
I didn't see that part. We were just all there. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I got you.
And as a man, that's some fly shit.
Yeah.
Nigga, you dancing and the bitch pull your zipper down. And you dancing and getting your dicks. Oh man, that's player shit. That's player shit. Every man should have that.
My point was when I talked to Man, because listen, she came over to see Pac, they messed around, and then basically Pac left the room and the two other guys came in.
And then that's where the problem started.
That's where the problem started.
Yes, sir.
Right? That was the root of the problem. Pac went into the living room, fell asleep on the couch, and then she came out. She was screaming and crying, oh, you let them rape me, whatever else. I remember I asked Man this question. I said, okay. Because what had happened was Pac woke up out of his sleep and said, get this bitch out of here. So they went and took her downstairs. She went straight to the police, and the rest is history. Now, I asked Man, I said, what if at that moment Pac had said, okay, let me go calm you down. Let me take you to the other room. Let me talk to you nicely, apologize, take responsibility, maybe take you shopping.
Yes, all that helps.
When none of this had happened, he said, absolutely. He said none of it would happen.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah.
When a young lady is promiscuous, but then you treat her like she's a hoe, the situation is different.
I have lived by this rule my entire life. Never, ever, 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 ever let a woman leave angry.
I totally agree with you, 1,000%.
You're going to argue with her, and this is women that you meet that you don't really know. Yes, of course, your wife or your main girlfriend, y'all go fight and whatever else.
What's going through your heart at that time, Vlad? Tell me, when you do that and you see they mad, what is going through your mind at that moment?
The fear that she's going to go and create a story about you that isn't true. That's going to drag you through the legal system.
Yes, and
that's what I think. When I see a woman and things are starting to go left, and in your head, I'm never going to see this person ever again. This is going to be it. But I have to walk out of this and let her feel like she won on some level.
You have to humiliate yourself a little.
Yes, you gotta say, I'm sorry.
You have to say,
you're
I'm sorry.
Right.
Yep.
You're right.
You're so right.
I beat it out. You're right.
You better say it.
You're right. I'm wrong.
You better fucking
Let me
say it.
What woman do you want? I'll pay for your taxi. You don't kick her out of the room. You get her a nice Uber X or whatever, is in that area.
Call me when you get home.
You call me when you follow up and you apologize again.
Yep.
I'm sorry this didn't work out. You're a great person. It's me. I'm just going through some shit right now.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Make her feel like, yeah. I got the up on this person.
Yes.
Because
I had
women,
that happen to me
oh my
once,
God,
Vlad.
if it
That's
goes
a
the other
sad
way.
fact. A girl laid in bed with me. She came to one of my shows, came to see me. She said that, and I had all this on the text message.
Mm.
She came to see me. We slept. And when she went home, I'm not going to say we had sex or not, but she spent the night with me. But I had all the information. She texted me when she got home. She sent me pictures of her. We talked the next day, but 2 days later, she said, I want to talk to you about something. What? She started making up this, I was uncomfortable type thing. I said, but I'm keeping all the text messages. A year later, the police reached out to me.
Oh.
True story.
A year later.
The police reached out to me, and they said this young lady came to make a report. But I'm a player. First thing I asked them, can you tell me her name? I don't know who the fuck she is. I'm being honest, I have no idea this girl's name. And then I said, oh, she must have saw me on, once they figured out, she must have saw me on TV, because I was just on TV not too long ago. I sent them all the text messages from this woman. So she's a liar, man. It was late to talk to me.
Yeah.
She's a liar. And I sent them everything, what we talked about, how she wanted to see me again, and they never bothered me again.
Case closed.
Case closed.
Yep.
So women scare me to the point of I cannot explain. That's why when people say, TK, you're so disciplined. TK, you don't really want to be around anybody. Because me and you know this. Some people don't take their life as serious as we take our life.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I interviewed Alan Dershowitz, who represented Mike Tyson.
Yes.
And he said unequivocally that he felt that Mike Tyson was innocent. And there was information in that trial that was held back that he tried to bring back up in the appeal and so forth. And it's not like Dershowitz, listen, he represented Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
He said Epstein was guilty.
Yes.
He represented OJ. He said, yeah, OJ's guilty. But he said Mike Tyson was not guilty. That this woman came on to him. She knew, I guess there was like something, like there's witnesses that say they were making out and stuff like that, but they wouldn't include that in the trial. The judge blocked it and so forth. Look what happened to him.
Yes.
You could honestly say that had Tyson not gone to prison right after losing to Buster Douglas, he would have had a rematch with Douglas. He would have won.
He would have won.
And he could have potentially beaten Holyfield.
He would have beat Holyfield. And let me tell you why.
Why is that?
I feel that when Mike was younger, he was indestructible.
Yeah.
When you go to jail, I don't care how talented you are, it snatches your soul. Mentally, spiritually, and talent-wise.
Right. Plus you can't train every day and everything else like that. Yeah. No, he came back out a totally different Tyson.
Totally different
That was
Tyson.
It. That was the beginning of the end. He came out, had a couple of cream puff fights, but then when he started fighting real opponents like Holyfield, he kept losing.
Yes.
And that was it. That was the reign of Mike Tyson.
And
it was
the
over.
strain and how that fight bothered me, because me and Mike is tight, and I used to talk to him about it. And I used to always say, yo, you should get back with the white guy, Rooney, whatever his name was. Because I like the way Rooney trained him. But Mike was like he was an alcoholic, blah, 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 right? But what the fighters used to do in the 60s and 70s when they lost a fight, they didn't go right back to fight that same person they just fought 3 months ago. They would fight other people over the next 2 years, then do the rematch. Because you wait for something to happen. When you fight another opponent, that opponent could probably, it takes something out of you. That's why I respect Mayweather so much. See, I really think that Pacquiao would have given him a rougher fight if they would have fought earlier.
Yeah.
But what Mayweather did, based on my man that manages him, Al Heyman. Al Heyman's around my age, old school. we're going to wait. And he took all those fights before they actually fought. And by the time they actually fought, Pacquiao wasn't the same fighter.
I interviewed Victor Ortiz. I don't know if you remember this fight. That was when basically Ortiz headbutted him.
Yes.
And they brought him back to the ring,
Yes.
and Ortiz was trying to hug on him.
Right.
And it's, and then basically he knocked him out before they said fight.
Right.
And it was protect yourself at all times.
Yep.
He never got a rematch.
Nope.
Mayweather said in the ring he'd give him a rematch. That rematch never happened.
Yep, that's true.
And that was it.
Yeah. And he's not successful anymore, huh?
Well, I mean,
Has he
he had a
still got
run, and
money?
he's done some stuff, you know what I'm
He
saying?
still
I
got a
mean,
little bit of money?
Yeah, he still
Okay,
got some money
cool.
and so forth, but he's not Mayweather successful,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
No one is.
Right.
You know?
Nobody is.
Nobody, but he could have, if there's a rematch, I mean, you never know.
Yes.
You never know.
And the way that fight looked at the beginning, that Victor Ortiz had a shot.
He had a bit of a chance.
He had a chance.
He had a chance. Everyone's got a anyone can knock anyone out.
Yes. The thing about whether it's sports, basketball, boxing, no matter how good you are, you still gotta have a little luck.
Yes. Now, the Tyson Jake Paul fight is supposed to happen in November.
Yeah. I was thinking about going to that, but I'll see.
I mean, it was really supposed to happen earlier, but then Tyson, I think, injured himself.
Yes, he had a seizure or something on the plane.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, it was a medical emergency.
But then they had like the press conference, and Tyson shoved Jake Paul. Did you see that?
No. I didn't see that. Okay, yeah, they're just doing that for stage. They don't just really dislike each other. But the thing that's interesting about what I realized, I didn't know Mr. Paul was 20-something years old.
Yeah, he's 30 years younger than Mike Tyson. And when you see that shove, and I remember Jake Paul did a whole video kind of mocking him. It was like a girly shove or something like that. When I saw that, I said, I don't think this is going to go very well for Tyson. Jake Paul is 30 years younger.
He's strong.
Strong,
He's
tall.
strong.
He's taking boxing seriously.
Yeah.
Although he's not, considered a serious contender,
Yes.
he is taking it seriously. By the way, they're also using 14-ounce gloves instead of 10-ounce gloves.
Okay, and
that was announced recently.
Yes. Now, why? What's the difference in that?
Well, because they think that Mike might get seriously hurt if you use 10-ounce gloves.
Okay.
Because originally it's supposed to be a real sanctioned part of everyone's record type event, but once
Right.
you throw in other gloves, it's a wrap. Like
Okay.
it's basically an exhibition fight.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that there's a fear that Mike Tyson might get seriously hurt or maybe even die in the ring if,
Hell yeah.
he's 57 years old?
He's 57 because I'm older than him. Yep. He's about that age.
58 years old.
58.
Yeah, he had a birthday in June.
Okay.
Oh, he's 2 days after me, June
Okay.
30th.
And happy belated.
Thank you. Yeah, man, a 58-year-old man with a 28-year-old man.
This is not a street fight. You know what I'm saying? Street fight is different.
Yeah, I got my money on Jake Paul, and I hope that it doesn't turn into something we don't want to see. Like Ali's last fight, how he got brutalized really bad.
Yes.
We don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But we might end up seeing it.
I got to go with Mike out of, personal, sentimental reasons, but wish them well. I think that day, they fight on November 15th, right?
I think so, yeah.
I'm in Boston at the House of Blues, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you watch the fight and make sure you come see TK Kirkland, House of Blues, Boston, Massachusetts. I'm excited about that show, by the way.
You said if you're going to be a true player, you never put both women in the same room. Which to me sounds obvious.
Yes. Say it again?
To me, that sounds obvious.
Yes.
Why would you put two women you're seeing in the same room?
I totally
Unless
agree.
there's a threesome.
Unless there's a threesome.
Yeah.
Now, why did I say that? Do you know?
No.
I don't know why.
Do you want to pull up the clip real quick?
Yeah, let me see it. Yeah, let me see it.
Okay, so I just played you the clip.
Yes.
I have never put multiple women in the same room
Thank you.
together unless we were having a threesome, which I've had before.
Yes. There's some men who will throw an event and have their side bitch there.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
That's mental illness.
It's mental illness. You have your side bitch there. You flirting with her. She knows her position.
That's Russian roulette.
Yes, that's Russian roulette.
You might get away with it.
You might get away with it.
But
Or
there's a
she might
chance you
see her go to the bathroom and say something to her. Or they could go in the bathroom. Give me an example. It's not almost the same, but it's genuine Tyrese when he was young. VET's throwing a big party in LA. We at this club at La Cienega. And I'm on a date. I walk in, I got the baddest bitch in the city with me. But I see this beautiful woman. Even though I'm on a date, it's our first date, she's not my woman. But I see this other woman. So me, I'm gonna make my move. I can have a bitch there and I still meet somebody else. But it just so happened this girl liked the girl too. She saw her. Not knowing I'm in competition, I'm trying to get to her. She trying to get to her. Vlad, watch this. I'm trying to pull her. The girl says, I was watching you. The girl who I'm just getting ready to holler at, you know what she says? I was watching you too. Damn, I win. I had to bow out gracefully. Cause them, I'm gonna say hoes, them two hoes had chose each other and basically said, TK, get the fuck out the way.
I've never had that happen. I've never had. But I feel like all the women that I've ever been with who have done threesomes were not truly lesbians.
Yes, thank God.
See what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
They were girls that they liked having threesomes,
Yes.
but they wouldn't go out and mess with girls on their own. They'd only do it with a guy.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been to that situation.
Yeah.
Because I don't have too many things I'm against. But once a woman tells me she used to like women, it does something to me. These young guys can probably do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, like I said, like I've just never experienced it. And I've been
Like one of my female
women.
friends from years ago, God bless her, she was married, but her girlfriend, they were seeing each other. And she said her husband never knew because that was always, I'm hanging out with such and such. This is before the gay thing really took, this is like 1993, 1994. So she was playing the role and rocking with the girl forever. Then in my lifetime, I heard a story of this guy and this girl, they were swingers. They're in Texas. They were swingers. He went out and got somebody brought somebody home. The girl that he brought in started liking each other to the point they got married.
Oh, okay.
In the same house that he brought the bitch to. I said, he ain't killed them hoes? This is a true fucking story.
Yeah, listen, when you open up some doors, you can't close them again.
And that's what I'm trying to explain to you men. Some of y'all think you're players. You got to know really deep in your heart, can you deal with the consequences of you being a player? Because just like I said, some of y'all have brought women home and not thinking that that girl can turn your woman out. And next thing you know, you done.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Diddy situation.
Yeah.
Like Diddy, according to paperwork, he got off on having other dudes have sex with Cassie.
Yes.
Right? But then at one point, she started doing it on her own. The whole Kid Cudi situation.
Right.
Next thing you know, he's blowing up Kid Cudi's car.
Right.
You know, because he can't deal with that. But you're already opening the door for her to have sex with other men.
Right.
Younger men, better looking men.
Right.
Maybe better endowed men and so forth.
Yeah.
You're opening up a door.
Right.
That's going to stay open.
You better really know who you are. Because again, that's what money does to you. You gotta.
Yeah, you think, she'll never leave me.
Yeah, you gotta
They can't compete with me.
I always tell men.
She ends up marrying a damn
the trainer.
Personal trainer.
Personal
who's
trainer.
broke.
Right. Not no more though.
Well, now they got that check.
Not no more though.
Not no more.
Not no more.
Yeah.
I think I've been through not all those things, but some of those things. And I've learned in life your bedroom should be sacred.
Yeah.
Your bedroom should be sacred.
Well, I think your house should be sacred.
Yeah, yes,
The
absolutely.
whole house. Yeah.
That's
If
that's
you're
what
going to mess with a side chick, don't bring her back to your house.
Never bring her to your fucking house.
Never.
Never.
Never. Get a hotel. Or go to her place.
Or go to her place. But never bring her to your spot.
Yes.
I totally agree with you 1,000%.
Well, Tyrese got locked up recently.
Mm.
And look, I haven't said this publicly, but I remember me and Tyrese had a whole back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when he was doing the whole complaining thing about his ex and the child support and everything else like that. Me and you maybe even talked about
Yes, I
it.
think we
talked
did.
to him, you know, and remember he was really angry at me and he made all these videos about me. There was some back
Yes,
and
I
forth.
saw that.
Yeah. I actually DM'd him a few weeks ago before he got arrested. And I said, listen, I apologize for some of the things I said about your drama with your ex-wife. Everyone deals with bad relationships in their own way. So I'm sorry for what I
Yes.
said. If you ever want to come on my platform to, you know, anything that you're promoting, you have an open, an open seat. He didn't respond, but I saw that he saw the message.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? We all, you know, when content gets created and we comment on it, sometimes we could be a little harsh in our
Yes,
approach.
right, I agree.
And I honestly felt sorry for him when I found out that he was locked up over, I believe, $73,000 in back child support.
Mm-hmm. He got out the same day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. To me, when he said that he might get locked up, again, I just think a man just doesn't keep putting his business out there in the world. That's where I have a problem with social media. This is where I have a problem with men.
Yeah, there could have been a quiet divorce.
Handle your business quietly. No,
I
we don't
agree.
need to know your business. And that's all I'm saying.
Here's something I've realized recently. Most of my time doing interviews was focused on rappers.
Yes.
And I used to think that rappers were the most sensitive profession ever. No. It's actors.
Yes. I can see that.
Actors are way more sensitive than any rapper I've ever seen, which kind of makes sense because they're forced to put emotion on the screen. They're forced to have to cry when they don't feel like crying.
Right.
Be sad or angry when they don't actually feel that way. So they have to, I think, touch a piece of themselves, you know, no Diddy.
Okay.
You know, when doing this. But yeah, dealing with actors and having back and forth with actors, and everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into it. They are by far the most sensitive people out there. And I'm just going to keep that in mind moving forward when dealing with people. So I apologize to him. And, you know, like I said, he didn't respond, but
Tyrese,
he didn't see it.
Rick Ross, Damon Dash, take it from an OG. Get your money, stay low-key, and flex occasionally. That's the rule. Everybody broke the code. Everybody doing what they want to do. We got to get everybody back on the code of being men.
Well, speaking of men, you brought up whose responsibility is it to pay for a date?
I think if you ask a woman on a date, you have to pay for it.
Agreed. 100%.
Bottom line. No other way around it. Don't leave it. I don't want you to leave a tip. If I ask you out, and I'm careful who I ask out to eat with me, because that's something that you have to take pride in. I was gonna take a young lady out, and she was like, I want to go such and such. I said, wait. I said, I asked you out. You going out with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to a nice place. You're just keeping me company. This ain't about you. And that's what men, if you're footing the bill, go where you want to go. The goal in life is the woman's just there to enhance what you're doing.
Well, okay, hold on.
Okay.
Because recently this thing was going viral. And I remember when I chimed in,
Yes.
people were like talking shit about me the way they usually do. But there was a situation just around the time that Bad Boys 4 was coming out.
Okay.
And a guy had written it was like a set of tweets where basically said he had asked this woman out and he said he wants to go see Bad Boys 4. And she said, no, I don't really want to see that movie. Let's go see something else or maybe go out to dinner. So he canceled the date because he said, well, I'm paying, so we're going to go where I go. And I felt he was wrong
That's
in that
wrong.
regard. Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm saying, a woman doesn't have to know. This is like a method between men. What I'm saying, I'm giving you the code. The code is you'll feel better if she's going out with you on where you like to go.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't go right, and because most of these guys get sensitive behind it, I took you where you want to go, whatever their situation, because I don't think the way these kids think, right? If you go where you want to go, you feel a little better. But if you go out the way to prove something to someone that's not your woman, that's not your girl, you might feel a little bad because you did everything for her. But what men don't understand when you get to the date, because it says something wrong. The girl probably didn't like you because your conversation was whack. You didn't have no sense of humor, right? These things happen. But some guys don't look at it that way. And that's all I'm saying. But if you go somewhere else and it doesn't work out, at least me, I don't usually have them problems. I'm a real gentleman.
Yeah, no, listen, I get it. And people are like, oh, you're a trick, you're this, you're that. And it's like, well, look.
Now, I'm going to pause you right there when they say a trick. And it's something that I realized recently. What we have is that we have young kids on social media that listen to us, right? Mm-hmm. You know what the problem is? They don't date the quality of women that you and I date.
True.
So they date, excuse my language, bum-ass bitches. So when you date bum-ass bitches, you call niggas a simp due to the fact that you're tricking on a woman that's not quality. But when you are fucking with boss-ass women that really don't need you, as a man, you know, hey, I don't mind spending, because me and this woman have talked on the phone. I feel comfortable with her. I like the way she thinks. I don't mind spending a few dollars because we're equally yoked.
Well, yeah. And I also feel like, okay, you take a woman out and you say, hey, we're going to do this. And if she says, I don't really want to do that, that's not really my thing, that's okay. This is not an escort. Right. This is not your slave.
Yes.
She is choosing to spend time with you. Yes. And although she may not be paying, that doesn't mean that you own her for a certain amount of time.
I totally agree. And
so
normally,
if she says, I don't want to go see this movie because I'm not into those types of movies, then you should say, okay, cool. I'll go see the movie by myself or with my friends.
And you go do something else.
Yeah. My thing was like, to me, it just sounds like he's broke and he's just trying a 2-for-1 situation. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he was broke. I just think he didn't understand what being a man was and being thoughtful. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a person saying they don't like something.
Exactly.
2, I don't think your conversation that you had with her prior to that was a good conversation.
Probably
because
not.
When you're talking to the female, before you go on a date, these things are discussed.
Right. And also, a movie as a first date is not a great solution either.
No, I totally agree.
You will be sitting there in silence watching someone else.
Right.
You can't really talk.
Right. Unless it's a great movie, you want to go see it and you understand. But normally,
even then, I would not. A movie date to me is like a month down the line.
Yeah, I could go on a date with a woman on the first date because it's early and we still have the rest of the day. Strategy. We can go to a movie at 1, 2 o'clock, then we got the rest of the day. But if you're a person that you have to pull teeth to start a conversation, the movie place is not for you.
Yeah, exactly. Someone asked us in the comments. They said, who is your top 5 female comics of all time?
That's a good ass fucking question.
Ain't it though?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Samora.
Okay.
For sure, Samora. I'm so bad with their names. I wish I knew all you ladies comedians' names. So I'm gonna go with the 2 that I know that can really throw down. And I would say Samora, Cheryl Underwood, for sure. And the next 3 is toss-ups. And the only reason why is their names. Now, if you could do this, Vlad, and pull up some names of female comedians.
I'm trying to do that right now.
Right, and say their names to me, and I could tell you. Because one of my rules, and people know, I try not to watch comedians perform, whether they're male or female. And check me out October 19th in Philadelphia, the day after the Fillmore in New Orleans with Cash Money.
I mean, there's Wanda Sykes, there's Amy Schumer, there's Joan Rivers.
Now, the reason why I won't say none of those people is because I didn't come up with them. What I mean by that is, what comedians have a tendency of doing, you ask who their favorite comedians, most people start saying Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, but that's being just politically correct.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people that came up with you in the clubs.
There's Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah. I wouldn't pick none of them.
Yeah, I mean, you start realizing there's not that many.
There's not that many. Even though
there's Monique.
Yeah, and Monique for sure. Yeah,
You know, me and her me and her husband and her at this point have some differences,
so now that we said those three, is this how it's gonna go? Here's it go. Samora, Monique, and Cheryl Underwood. And I say that order, but in actuality, they're all #1 in my book. Because I seen all of them come up. I seen all of them work. Me and Monique go way back when she was in Baltimore. She was a hustler. She started her own comedy club, doing the thing. This was when her mother and all of them was working for her, et cetera, et cetera. That's how far me and her go back. Cheryl Underwood, to see what she's accomplished in her career and to be on The View, I think it is The View or The Talk? I think it's The Talk. I think Whoopi Goldberg is on The View.
Well, there's Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, and I love Whoopi Goldberg.
She was a beast on stand-up.
Yeah, and me and Whoopi was featured on a special in the early 90s called Mo Funny. You ever get a chance, watch the documentary called Mo Funny. You'll love it. Me,
The Talk.
The Talk.
Cheryl Underwood, yeah.
So me, Whoopi Goldberg, Richard Pryor, we was all featured on Mo Funny. It was a great documentary.
Nice.
Back in the day. I love that.
Just the other day, Rich Homie Quan passed away from what people are saying is a drug overdose.
Yes, I didn't know the story. The thing that bothered me about the whole thing was his side bitch coming out talking about his situation. I felt whoever gets to the social media first, let her rise. Some things you just keep to yourself.
He was 34 years old.
Youngster.
And in fact, I did his first interview ever.
Wow.
Some type of way, the song came out, and I just happened to be in Atlanta, and I knew his manager because he was also managing Trinidad James.
Okay.
He set me up with the interview, and ever since then, man, we've had a very cool relationship. We've done like maybe 3 or 4 interviews. Whenever we got on the phone, we talked. We actually talked maybe about a month ago.
Wow.
And man, to be 34 and to die.
Yeah.
And you have kids. And I went back and looked. This is the 5th person I've interviewed that have died from drug overdoses.
Yeah. And what do me and you discuss?
Let me just list them. Mac Miller died at 26. Aaron Carter died at 34 as well. Gangster Boo died at 43.
Man.
And Coolio died at 59. 5 people that lost their life prematurely, probably from fentanyl.
Yes. I saw an article yesterday. They show what cocaine could do you a little pack. Show what pills can do to you if you took that much, what it could do to your body. And they showed a tiny piece of fentanyl, something like that, that'll kill you.
Yeah.
That'll kill you. And I don't know what we have to do to get through to the kids about loving your life so much. Because there's nothing like living long enough to see your grandchildren. There's nothing like living long enough to see things that you thought you would never see.
Well, yeah, I ran into your son at the mall recently.
Wow.
And he had...
my grandbabies.
He had the grandbaby.
That's right.
Well, that was his grandbaby?
That was his kids, but my grandbaby.
Your grandbaby.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a grandfather.
Yeah, I'm a grandfather.
Of how many kids?
Yes, 2.
2? Okay,
yes.
Grandfather 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my man Michael Jai White, who is actually younger than you, is a great-grandfather of 2.
Man.
He started like 14 or 15.
Yeah. I'm going to see my own grandbabies tonight and in the morning.
But yeah, man, listen, I remember I was in Atlanta doing interviews a few months ago, and I was interviewing this artist. We were at his studio. He walked out, and these other 2 guys came in. They're like, "Oh shit, DJ Vlad, yo, we're huge fans." And the artist had left. And they were like, "Yo, man, yo Vlad, you want some cocaine?" And I'm looking around, going like, I can't believe in 2024. Somebody's asking me to take street drugs that I just met. I said, no. Like, are you sure? I said, I am sure.
Isn't that amazing?
I haven't offered cocaine in like 20 years.
I was in Times Square when I called you, when the guys were saying that you was there and they was bullshit.
Yeah.
Remember I called you if I went to France?
Yeah.
Guys was walking up to me and was like, yo, you want some weed? I'm looking around like, what the fuck is
There's stores we could buy it from now.
Yes. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, man, listen, Rich Homie Quan, that one hit close to home because...
I was a fan.
I was a fan, yeah.
And when I think of, my dad died when he was 35.
Wow.
When I think about how young that, when you're young...
How old were you at the time?
I was 14. So when you think of 35, then you think that person is older because it's your
No.
dad. And then when you get to be 60-something years old, you realize 35 is fucking young.
Young as hell.
And I wish his wife, the kids, any person that lost any family members at a young age or older age, I wish you strength and guidance, because to lay in bed with someone they died, to lay with someone and you think they sleep and die on the couch.
Yeah, the
These
story
things
was
are interesting.
The story was, because I remember I was reading about this today, was that Quan's brother came to his house and found him asleep in the kitchen with like food in his mouth or something.
And I thought his wife said the baby mama saw him sleeping on the couch.
Well, yeah, so the brother moved him, picked him up and put him on the couch.
Get the fuck out.
Well, thinking that, okay, he just fell asleep.
Right.
And then his girlfriend, kid's mother, whatever, I think checked on him at like 6:30, and then at that point he was dead. So like, not to say it was anyone's fault. I mean, overdoses are overdoses, but yeah, man, 34 is like
so young.
a baby.
A baby.
And there's, he's sort of wrapped up in the whole YSL trial in his own way.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
because I think his name came up about that a couple of days before he passed.
I'll tell you an interesting story off camera about this. But yeah, it was, there was some information that me and him talked about that I told him I would keep private, which I'm going to continue to do.
Right.
But, it's, I'm sure the stress of that was playing a role, but like, everyone out there who's taking pills that they're getting off the street or doing coke or whatever else, like, look at Quan with all his money and all his fame and all his cars. It didn't stop him from dying.
That's right.
So don't think that you're going to get away with it either.
That's right.
It's
only a matter of time.
Well, we also lost Fat Man Scoop recently.
Yeah, God bless him. He died on stage.
He died. Well, at least that happened.
Yes.
If there was ever a time, if there was a way to go out
I
for
agree.
someone like a Scoop who's a real, and let me tell you something, man, as a DJ, and every DJ who's listening to this knows what I'm saying. I DJ'd all around the world.
Yes.
All over America, Japan, Australia, Italy, Bahrain, like all these places. At any point, if I saw the crowd getting a little down, I would put on that Fat Man Scoop record, bass drop.
Wow.
Instantly, everyone would get hyped.
Man.
That's a timeless record.
That is insane.
And in fact, hold on, let me see if I can find this. Me and Scoop were actually, this was a while ago.
Okay.
This was back in 2020. We were talking about, possibly having him do interviews on the platform, and he was kind of getting into it himself.
Right.
And he left a voicemail for me, which was so, I'll just play this for you.
Okay.
No one's ever heard this before.
The work that you have done, man, I sit and I look at it, man, and I'm like, Jesus, man, like, that machine is well oiled and running. I'm at fucking step 0.000. I see what you're doing, man. It's just massive. And I understand how many people it takes to make that work now. It takes about maybe 12, 13 people for you to run that the way you want to.
Wow.
Yeah, man. He was trying to get into it, but he was learning how the game was coming together and everything else. And he was always very respectful, man.
Yes.
Always
he's a
cool
nice
dude,
gentleman.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. If you take a step back, because whenever someone passes, the first thing I think is, what lessons have we learned?
Yes.
From this person passing prematurely?
Yes.
56 is not old.
No. Hell no.
Younger than you.
Yes.
A couple years older than me.
Yes.
When you look at most rappers out there who have the name Fat, Heavy, or Big in their names, they don't usually live past their 50s.
Man.
Big Pun died at 28. Heavy D died at 44. Two of the Fat Boys, Buffy, died at 28. And Marky D died at 52. So I know when you're younger and you're entertainer, sometimes it's cool to play up the whole heavy thing. Oh, I'm the fat guy. I'm the overweight lover. I'm the fat, funny guy, whatever else, and use a part of you as part of your charisma. But as you get older, being overweight
It's
puts a lot of
detrimental to your health.
stress on your body.
It's detrimental to your health. There's no other way to put
And
it.
all I have to say, if you don't think what I'm saying is true, me and Faison have had this conversation.
Yes.
Find me one fat 80-year-old. Just one. Name me a fat 80-year-old that we have all heard of. Every person I know in their 80s and 90s, even their 70s, find me a fat 70-year-old.
It's true.
They're all skinny.
Yep.
And that's not a coincidence.
I agree.
You don't have to be bone skinny, but you can't be obese.
You cannot be obese.
Because that will shorten your lifespan.
Yes. I agree. You're absolutely right.
That's just the truth.
It's facts.
And Fat Man Scoop, I'm not going to say he was my friend or anything else like that. We were cool with each other. As you could tell by that voicemail,
Yes.
we were cool. We communicated.
Yes.
If I would hit him, he would hit me back. We just didn't have a lot of business in common.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never interviewed him, you know, but he was a fellow DJ when I was a DJ.
Yes.
So we all respect each other in that capacity. But Fat Man Scoop, and he used that as part of his charisma and charm, he should have probably lost weight. And I think that he would still be alive today if he was Skinny Man Scoop.
I totally agree.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Look at Fat Joe. Fat Joe has taken his health seriously
Sure has.
all the time because he didn't want to go out like Big Pun. At
Right.
28,
Yes.
Big Pun was like 400 pounds.
He sure was. That's too heavy.
Yeah.
That's too heavy.
Well, and then finally, James Earl Jones just died at age 93. And any Star Wars fan like myself, the voice of Darth Vader,
Yes. Or the scene in Coming to
Coming
America.
to America, the voice of Mustafa in The
Yes.
Lion King.
Phenomenal gentleman.
Oh man, you ever met him?
No, I never met him.
I never met him either.
But
yeah.
he has a air about him of
Oh, yeah, like a regal kinda,
sophistication and respect. So shout out to Earl, Mr. Earl Jones. Thank you for the memories on that one, because when he came into a room, when you look at him and Coming to America, the voice, his silhouette, his strength.
Yes.
Whoever cast that movie was phenomenal, because that was perfect.
No, man, he was a phenomenon. And I had heard, remember I read this a while back, that he had actually done a deal with Disney where they could continue to use his voice like after his passing for like a certain amount of money. And now with AI, you could do that
Yes.
relatively easily.
Yes.
So you will still hear James Earl Jones as Darth Vader for decades to come.
That's phenomenal.
And I think that's dope.
Oh my God.
So his family will probably benefit from that
Yes.
as time goes on, because, because I think I remember a long time ago, the actor that played Darth Vader under the costume tried to sue Disney and say that like it was like reverse racism and they didn't use his voice. And I think George Lucas came in and said, okay, James Earl Jones has a legendary voice. Has nothing to do with his race.
Yes.
You didn't know what, Darth Vader looked like under that mask
Right,
at that
that's so
point
true.
early on. And his voice absolutely made that character. And everyone who does that character always tries to mimic
Yes.
that voice.
Yes.
But outside of Darth Vader, yeah, man, just a ton of movies that go back to like the 70s.
The 70s.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars came out in 77.
Yeah, yeah. He talked about that. He only got $7,000 for that part.
Yeah.
Which is okay. He thought it was a lot of money.
I mean, but back then,
$7,000 was a lot of money.
$7,000 was a lot of money, and I remember even seeing a documentary about the making of Star Wars, like
Yes.
Harrison Ford. Everyone thought the movie was a joke.
Yes.
No one thought it was, they're like, you got this big Chewbacca guy who's with this
Right.
giant teddy bear thing, and everyone thought it was just going to flop.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned into a phenom.
Yes.
So
It made
you get
Lucas very
7,000.
rich.
Yeah, man. Made a lot of people very rich.
Yes.
There's also Field of Dreams, The Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games,
He was phenomenal.
The
in Patriot
Sandlot,
games.
of course, The Lion King, like we
Yes.
mentioned.
Yes.
He had a hell of a, and look, 93, man, that's a good age to pass
I was just
away.
telling somebody that.
93.
Listen, if you can get into don't get me wrong, death is going to hurt anyway.
Yes.
But if you can get past 88, baby, and you're healthy and got a little bit of money,
Yeah.
you did your thing.
My dad died at 84. So I keep that in mind. I think, okay, if my dad lived that long, I'm 52. Okay, I probably
You can make it.
I can make it.
You can make it.
I can make it.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
make it. But because you use that as your
As the
guy.
floor.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully with advanced, medical technology, because he died from Parkinson's.
Yes.
Hopefully by the time I reach that age, there'll be technology and drugs.
Yes, and your life is different because everything to me starts when you're young.
Yeah.
See, people start trying to get their lives together in their 40s or 50s. To me, that's me. I'm not a doctor. But from what I've seen, it's too late.
But listen, and a lot of people get on me about this because I've mentioned this a couple times. When I order Postmates, I would say about a third of the time, the people who drop off my food are senior citizens.
Mm.
And there's nothing wrong with Postmates.
No.
There's nothing wrong with working a job. But I don't think anyone aspires in their 60s and 70s to have to drop off food to make ends meet.
Yes.
Nobody's doing this just for fun.
I totally agree.
If you're doing Postmates in retirement age, it means that the decisions you made up to that point are not supporting the lifestyle that you want.
I totally agree.
And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But try to make decisions, financial decisions, where by the time you're ready to retire, you can maintain whatever lifestyle it is without having to get extra work. Because I know you don't want to get out of bed and jump in a car and go pick up someone's noodles and then go drive in and drop it off.
That's true.
And do that type of work. Now, it's cool to have hobbies and to have your own business that you still work on, to be a Bill Gates who's still running a whole bunch of companies and not retired.
Yes.
That's different than having to do a job that you don't care about because your Medicaid and whatever your retirement accounts are not covering and you can't pay your rent and you can't eat what you want to eat.
So true, Vlad.
Yeah, man.
I'm with you 100%. Man
Yeah.
told me a long time ago, David Klingman, he said, TK, you don't want to ever get old and be broke.
Yes.
I remember that he told me this 30-something, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And I lived that way to this day. Now, I might die in whatever, but my goal is to make sure as I'm old, I'm not broke.
That's where we're going to end it. TK Kirkland.
My
Always
man.
a pleasure.
Always a
Till
pleasure,
next
Vlad.
time. Peace.
Handle your handle.